charts. Every number one for 83 in the press. Ow! Every number one on the orange owl. Every number one for 83 in the press. Every number one on the orange charts. Every number one for 83 in the press. Ow! Every number one on the orange charts. Every number one for 83 in the press. And 83 in the press. Wow! Yowza!
Hello, I'm Ben.
Hi, I'm Tom.
And you're listening to Sunglasses at Night podcast, and the year is 2008.
It sure is. This is the podcast where we look back through our metaphorical Ray-Bans at a year in musical history via the ARIA charts, Australian Recording Industry Association charts, at the number ones for a particular year, in this case 2008, and say, what the hell were they thinking, those wacky dudes from 15 years ago?
Exactly right. So, look, 2008, big year, an Olympic year.
Of course,
so
yes.
There should be some sort of Amigos Para Sempre type horseshit in this year's charts, I would imagine. But apart from that, what else happened in 2008? Let's paint the picture.
Sure.
So people know the songs they're going to hear. What inspired people, or what pushed people into the direction to listen to these songs? World events, I would assume.
Outside of the Olympics.
Yep.
Starting the year on a bit of a downer. In the first half of May, Cyclone Nargis passed through Myanmar, killing more than 138,000 people.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
Somehow. Then an earthquake measuring 7.9 on the moment magnitude scale struck Sichuan, China, killing an estimated 87,000. Or, as reported in Chinese official newspapers, 312, I think.
Zero, I think it was. They all survived.
The global financial meltdown, triggered by far-right economic deregulation, became impossible to ignore. George Bush tried to fix the problem by putting 700 billion taxpayer dollars into a giant confetti cannon and firing it directly at the people responsible for the problem. But sadly, this didn't work any better than it did when they tried it the previous 6 times. On the plus side, the Large Hadron Collider is switched on in my pants, in Geneva, and unfortunately did not cause a black hole as some nerds had predicted / secretly hoped that it would. It just did what it was supposed to do, although it is possibly one of the coolest engineering things I've ever seen in my entire life. It looks like something made up for a film.
Definitely. What are they going to do with it once they stop colliding those atoms into one another? Has it got a reuse like a KFC or something like that?
Or indoor go-karting.
Indoor, yeah, absolutely. That's inevitable.
If anywhere you could have real-life Mario Kart, it would be
it's
there.
in that collider,
in America, Barack Obama clearly won the majority of votes in the federal election. Despite that, he was elected president in an unusual development. In an unconnected note, gun sales surged as healthy, normal white people, many of whom were also elected politicians, began an 8-year campaign of civil disobedience that had nothing whatsoever to do with Obama's skin colour. In fact, you're the racist for even mentioning it, Ben. I don't know why you keep bringing that up.
I know.
In music, Amy Winehouse won 5 Grammys for Rehab. And Britney managed another US number one for Womanizer, which I'd forgotten about, but which was actually her first US number one since Baby One More Time.
Wow,
so
there you
all
go.
those ones we talked about that were number ones here, none of them were number ones in America. They all must have just grazed the top of the charts.
But also, spoiler alert, we're not going to talk about Womanizer.
No,
doesn't
wasn't
do well
here.
Doesn't do well here
but
at all,
means
unfortunately.
that means that
it was a good decade of Toxic.
Yeah, that wasn't a number one.
That's a banger.
What else? What was the other one after Baby?
There's all the good ones.
Baby One, what was the follow-up to Baby One More Time? Oops, I Did It Again.
Oops, I Did It
Again. That wasn't a number one in America
great.
Somehow. It's nuts.
Yep. Jesus, crazy.
At the movies, the top 10 for this year included The Dark Knight, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal, let's not talk about it, and that ABBA musical, and only 5 sequels.
Oh, good, yeah.
Which is a slight improvement over the previous year. I don't know about you, but the only song I can remember from any of the top 10 movies this year was, not counting ABBA, of course, was the Jack White, Alicia Keys duet from Quantum of Solace. Now, that's often listed as the worst Bond song ever, by people who haven't heard Die Another Day,
Yeah.
Never Say Never Again, or Writings on the Wall by Sam Smith from Spectre.
Yeah, that Sam Smith one's definitely worse than the Jack White, Alicia Keys
Yeah,
one.
at least that's interestingly bad.
Yeah.
Sam Smith one is just boring as fuck.
Yeah,
It's as
absolutely right.
boring as the name Sam Smith, which I
is.
think might be the most boring name
It is,
in
yeah.
pop music history.
Why did he needed a stage name? I mean, isn't it sort of that's what people do? So
Ironically, I was just thinking about this when I was looking at that. You know that famously or semi-famously,
Yep.
Ian Fleming picked the name James Bond
Yep.
originally because he was trying to think of a spy name. He was trying to think of a name that would contrast with the amazing exploits of the
Yep.
guy. And he was looking across his bookshelf, and it was a book of it was like the Book of Caribbean Birds or something
Yep.
by James Bond, and he just thought that's the most generic, dull-sounding name that an exciting spy could have. But it's
Smith,
still
yeah.
way more interesting than Sam Smith.
Yeah, absolutely,
James Bond shits on Sam
Oh,
Smith.
it
Even if you
does.
dissociate it from the spy, at least, you know.
I find it hard
Sam
to
Smith,
believe.
if you were a spy with the name Sam Smith, people would go, well, clearly that's a fake name.
It's your
No one's
spy.
got a name that boring. What would your parents have been thinking?
I'm surprised that at no point during Sam Smith's early career did someone say, mate,
Yes.
you got the voice, but you're going to have to change that name because there are so many people with the last name Smith called Sam. Just anything, you know,
Yeah.
DJ Cyberstorm, perhaps, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So how about Ed Sheeran? That's not taken. Oh, it is. Sorry. So, but yeah, look, there was so many options. Just go with one name, like a sort of Madonna, Prince type thing. Anything, even if he just called himself Sam.
Yes.
I think that's better.
Or Smith. Just
Yep.
even the one name version, you know.
Fucking
It's
terrible.
not helped by the fact that there's nothing interesting about his appearance or any of his songs either.
Look, but what a simpler time that a Batman film was the biggest film of the year. That'll never happen again, will it? And certainly not in this year, where it
Yes.
probably inevitably will happen again.
Definitely
but-
learnt their lesson from that.
The Dark Knight went for less than 3 hours, though, did it? No, well, it was a long one.
It was still less than 3 hours, yeah. I
Yep.
don't think any of the bloody Christopher Nolan ones lasted that long.
No, for sure. He had some ability to edit down parts. that
Also,
were not
in some
required.
of the scenes, you could actually see what was happening as well, which is, you know, a big departure from the modern version.
Yeah, but Christian Bale did use that sort of Batman type.
That's true.
The
He started
deep-
that
the
shit
low
off,
voice.
and it got sillier. Ben Affleck's doing it even
Yeah.
more, and now it's just gotten to the point where he barely talks at all.
See, the thing with Christian Bale is he's obviously not American, and I've learned that if you do a low voice, you sound American. If I do a low voice, like if you're bad at accents and someone says you got to play an American, you just go, "My name's Bond, James Bond," and you sound like you're American, you know. So
Did you know that Steven Seagal originally, when he did his first screen test,
Yeah.
the studio, because he was pushed forward by this guy who was just wowed by his imaginary martial arts abilities. Who he gave like Aikido lessons to, and that guy was like, "Dude, guys, you got to see this dude. He's going to be the new Van Damme." And they did a
Fucking
screen
hell.
test with him, and they were like, "Well, yeah, you can do this martial art, but he's got this weird high pitched voice. He sounds ridiculous."
Oh, really?
Yep. So then he came back, and that's why he always
does
just
he?
whispers.
So
all
what's
this
so Cigar's actual sort of normal voice?
Doesn't
is like
sound anything
like
like
a
that,
wise
no.
guy type, high
like
pitched.
every single other part of him, it's made up bullshit.
It's completely fabricated.
It's every part
sure.
of his
Yep.
life, backstory, physical appearance. Existence.
If anyone listening to this podcast went to that night with Steven Seagal in Melbourne a few years ago, especially the dinner bit,
Oh,
where you got to sit at the
man.
dinner table with like 20 other dudes that dropped like $2,000 to have dinner with Steven Seagal, send us a message because I'd love to
Yeah.
know what went down there.
I did not know.
Or did that get cancelled because of COVID? I can't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
I feel like
it
it was
must have.
longer than COVID times though. Maybe it got cancelled due to lack of demand, but I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, well, speaking of Steven Seagal, have you got anything else to say about the year, or should we move on to the
Oh,
music?
I don't. Move on to the music, I
If
think,
there's
Tom.
one thing that makes me think about music, it's Steven Seagal.
Oh,
because
for sure.
Of course, means many musical side projects, including Thunderbox. Or
Definitely.
his own work, including Songs from the Crystal Cave.
Things,
I
yeah,
think that's
Songs
one
from the
of them.
Crystal Cave is one of them. I keep waiting for
There's the
Record
one
Store
where he
Day
does
for
a
them
Jamaican accent for the whole song. That's pretty good. Sorry.
When are they gonna? They need to bring those out on vinyl for
I
Record
know.
Store Day, but they haven't done that yet. So, look, song number one of the year, "Apologise," Timbaland featuring One Republic. We talked a lot about that last
Yes.
week. So 8 weeks total, 2 last year. 6 more this year. Fucking hell! I was listening to Cole's radio the other day, Tom, and this song came on, and I went, "Fucking hell, that's boring as shit."
It's
pretty shit. Like why? Like 8 weeks of this. It's too late to apologize.
They still haven't apologised.
No, exactly. So look, we can leave that behind. But as I mentioned, 6 weeks. So it wasn't until mid-Feb that we got the first new number 1 song of the year, Tom. "Bleeding Love" by Leona Lewis.
Yes.
What do you want to tell me about that? Oh, 5 weeks, by the way.
Yes. Some of these dip in and out, but we're saying the collective amount of time.
Yep.
They
It was
spent,
so
because otherwise we'd have to keep
for
going
those
back and forth.
diehards. It was 4 weeks, and then I think the next song popped in, and then people went, "Oh fuck, I need more of that Leona Lewis," and then she pops back in for 1 week. So
Normally we don't explain these because it's boring, but when we say 5 weeks,
happens
we
more
mean
often
in
than you
total.
would think. So
Yes, they do.
bit of the old tag team
Old
of
tag team.
songs. So
This is kind of a non-power ballad from the expansive subgenre of songs that sound suspiciously close to Nothing Compares to You, but aren't anywhere near as good.
yeah, look, exactly. You try and take on Prince at his own game, and there's a
Yeah.
very real chance you're going to come off second
You
best.
better
I'd
not
say.
miss, yeah.
Even now that he's 6 feet under, I think you know if you try and do a Prince type song, he's still probably going to. There'll be
absolutely.
something in the vault to pull out. But the fact that no one's come after Prince in the Me Too era proves to me he's a great guy. You know, that was a dude that fucking banged a lot of chicks. 23 positions in a one night stand. He'd sing that, but he'd make it sound classy. And there's not a bevy of people coming out saying, "Oh, Prince,
That's
tried to
true.
feel me up in an umbrella." He was fucking so many chicks, but
true.
no one's come out. So I think that shows to me that he's a legitimately
in
good guy,
fact.
just a musician that loved women but treated them with respect.
No, it's funny you should say that because, firstly, we already covered that song. What's the song with the video that's it's all different kinds of women. It's like a slow love ballad.
Oh, I don't know. Not Diamonds and Pearls.
No, it's a kind of bugger. I can't remember it. It was a number 1 hit, but
Okay.
the video features early morphing technology of lots of women's faces morphing into each other, and it's also features sort of gay and trans looking people
Yep.
and stuff.
Oh,
which
that's
was
true. Yeah,
considered
correct.
Unusual at the time, but they did like a Vice article as a retrospective about, and they contacted as many of those women as they could find, and every single one of them said he was really nice to work with.
Absolutely.
I think if you get any if you can have any 3 dozen women that you worked with, if you're a pop star and none of them can think of anything that gross or creepy that you
Yep.
did. In
Definitely
fact,
good dude.
I was going to say the only bad story I've heard about him really came from Sinead O'Connor,
Oh,
who
yeah.
sang Nothing Compares to You, who claimed that she got in a scuffle with him at Paisley Park and had to climb out the window and run away. But she does have a talent for self-mythologising.
Yep.
So it's possible that was just an argument and she left.
And she's an Islamic terrorist, as we've talked about in the past, so you can't trust her. She's either an Islamic terrorist or a domestic Irish terrorist. So
yes,
one of the
depending
two.
on what newspaper she's talking to.
For sure, yeah, exactly. So look, it's fair to say most musicians died at the right time. But not with Prince. I feel like, he still had a lot more to give.
Yes, yes. Shitloads more music if the contents of his hard drives or anything.
Well, that's it. People talk a lot about Prince's vault. You hear about the vault with hundreds, if not thousands, of unreleased songs down there. It paints a mental image of me. You walk into this sort of cavernous space and there's just reel-to-reels on the wall and boxes of CDs and tapes, VHS, maybe musical instruments, drum machines, those sorts of things. Maybe some memorabilia. Just all kinds of things that I think about and go, oh, Prince's vault sounds like there's a lot of great stuff in there. I'd love to visit it one day, But when I hear something like Michael Jackson's vault, all I can think of is a space filled with decomposed children's corpses.
Yeah, when I just said the contents of his hard drive just then, I was thinking...
I meant music. I didn't mean anything.
Yeah,
Michael
yes.
Jackson's hard drive it's a whole other kettle of fish. But anyway, back to Leona.
Sure.
Maybe.
Look, about the most interesting thing I can say about this is that whatever computer program is playing the drums uses an interestingly distorted bass note and some kind of slightly unusual artificial beats. And Leona's voice isn't too bad,
Oh, look, yeah, it's okay. Look, this is emotional. I think you can say that.
Yeah, it's definitely
And it has some power in the delivery vocally.
Yeah.
And there's some beats, as you've said, in that distortion. So I've added all those things together, and the answer I'm getting, Tom, is thugged out ballad, I believe. So we know that if it's emotional and ballad with some beats, it's thugged out.
It's not
so,
ho-wop, I'll tell you
No,
that.
it's not ho-wop.
Neither is it Playboy rap.
No, it's not Playboy rap, yeah. Is Leona Lewis the UK Mariah? I'm going to say probably not. She's had nowhere near the hits, nor does she have the talent, but she does have a powerful voice. But here's one thing, Tom. She's surprise, she has a Christmas album titled With Love, Christmas with Love, and the single off that, One More Sleep, is clearly Leona's attempt at trying to get in on some of that All I Want for Christmas Is You action.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the song's fucking trash.
Yeah.
But the album also includes Kiss Me It's Christmas featuring Neo, which is every bit as good as it sounds and appears to be a song about Neo trying to dick Leona while the kids are in the other room unwrapping what appears to be a copy of Leona's Christmas album, which should keep them occupied for about 3 minutes, which is all Neo requires to do the deed, or so I'm led to believe by social media.
Sure. Look, weirdly, this song, Bleeding Love, is not about periods or Chris Brown. Were you as disappointed as me? I thought maybe we were going to get our first official period anthem, but
yeah, we didn't.
Outside of the Riot Girl scene, anyway, I'm sure they had plenty to say about periods.
Doubt. They definitely did. Look, I think Leona as well, she loves a bit of erotic piano. And if you don't, I'm all about that. That's when, erotic piano is when you're standing up while you're playing the piano and trying to do it sexily, and Leona sort of in some other video clips and stuff does that. And the reason I love erotic piano is that it's always, and I mean absolutely always, fucking stupid. It just looks ridiculous. The piano's not sexy. It isn't cool. The coolest instrument, as we've talked about before, is one of those bass guitars with the body the size of a passport and no tuning head on it, and it looks like some kid has glued a plank to an ice cream container, nailed on a few strings. That's obviously the best, followed by the saxophone and then the keytar. The piano is pretty much for losers.
It's a distant tenth.
Oh,
sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, people seem to think that if you've got bare feet and you're standing up at a piano, it suddenly becomes erotic.
But it's no good.
There is a subcategory of extremely talented classical musicians who have become more famous possibly than they otherwise would have been by just being very attractive young women who don't wear very much while performing and do interesting things to the piano seat that they're sitting on. But even then, they usually choose to remain seated.
They do.
While doing that, and probably are wearing shoes, I'm pretty sure.
I've seen Delta tried to pull off the erotic piano.
We were talking about this previously, but
and she doesn't do it well either.
No,
I don't think so.
No, they just look like you're going to catch a cold.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, well, if you've forgotten Leona Lewis or never heard of her like myself, then...
Axel, give me some reggae.
Sorry, that's Axel demanding reggae to remind me that Leona Lewis achieved national recognition when she won the third series of the X Factor in the US in 2006. She's another reality TV cast-off, but from America, not Australia.
Or from the UK, actually.
Oh, the UK. Sorry, yes, you're right. Misspoke. She won a world record with her winning song by getting 50,000 downloads within half an hour, which just goes to show how meaningless that sort of record is, because as Crazy Frog demonstrated, with 6 months of nightly TV cluster bomb advertising, you can get 500,000 people to exchange valid currency for an invisible bouncing frog dick to put in their telephone.
Yep.
So, 50,000 downloads in half an hour doesn't really surprise me.
No, it doesn't.
The thumbs pressing those buttons belong to 13-year-old kids, and, no one's impressed by that. But her debut album, Spirit, was certified 10 times platinum in the UK. That's a bit more impressive, and became the fourth best-selling album of the 2000s, and one of the best-selling albums in UK chart history, which is depressing, but sort of predictable. The lead single was Bleeding Love, that's this one. Spent 7 weeks at number one in the UK, and was the best-selling single of 2007. Got to number one in 35 countries somehow, being the first song to do that since Candle in the Wind 10 years earlier.
Wow.
Which is pretty impressive, especially when you listen to this and you think, I mean, it's not that it's terrible, but just like, why this song? I mean, Candle in the Wind's not excellent, but at least it's connected to Lady Di. You think, sure, fine. And it's based on a much-loved previous song. This one, you just sort of go,
Yeah, look, it's not that memorable, really, is it?
I mean, I'd literally forgotten it. That's how memorable it is. And her.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, I was living in the UK in 2008, Tom, and it's for that reason alone that I can remember Leona Lewis, because she sort of was around, on the televisions and that sort of shit as a winner of that.
Makes more sense.
So I sort of was a bit more familiar with her, but yeah, I can't really remember any songs she did. So I think she was just one of those people that's like, oh, that's Leona Lewis. I know what she looks like. I know who she is, but I'm not listening to this. It's trash. I think a lot of people said that at the time she looked a bit like the Paddle Pop line, which...
It's ridiculous because we all know that the Paddle Pop line is actually Chad Kroeger from Nickelback.
It is, yeah. I don't think it's fair to judge someone's musical output based on their appearance. I tend to listen to the song and then determine it's complete trash. So,
right.
Yeah.
Besides, he's got the perfectly shaped, weirdly triangular head.
He does.
With permed mullet.
Exactly.
Yeah, if I had to say something from these shithouse reality TV people that we've been looking back through and their musical output, which amounts to pretty much bugger all in terms of anything memorable.
Yep.
You'd have to say that, musical quality aside, I think the irony is that you get the media blitz publicity campaign, which gives you a public persona that people are aware of. Like you say, you remember her from seeing her around on TV. You've got a face to attach to the name and a bit of personality because you've seen her doing stuff on television in a way that, in the old days, someone like Axl Rose, the only time you'd see him doing anything would be if you were lucky enough to see him live on stage, which you weren't, not if you lived where we lived, or from his music videos, which are carefully staged, like they're an artificial thing. Whereas when you have this fake sense of what someone's really like from their shows, you end up with this thing. But then, unless they do some extremely memorable music, which, spoiler, they don't, then the music fades and all you were left with is this sort of half-assed sort of public face. So then you've sacrificed all this time and effort for music nobody remembers, but then you get to spend the rest of your life walking down the street and people go, hey, you're that guy from that show.
Exactly.
It's like you get the worst parts of this Faustian bargain. You get the worst parts of fame without any of the money, respect, or, musical fucking support that you would get from being an indie band.
Fame without the financial reward would be very, very annoying.
Oh, it'd be the worst thing in the world.
Because you couldn't go to the supermarket because you can't afford the groceries.
You couldn't work at the supermarket unless you wanted to spend every day just at a checkout queue of people asking you what fucking Simon Cowell is like in person.
And that's the problem. Once the career fades, you need to make money somehow, but you can't just go back to doing a regular thing because it'd be absolute agony. So you just have to go on, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here or something, or launch, an NFT collection or some bullshit.
I just think it's interesting that with these people, that weird way of building a pop star by building them personality and image first, then it results in that. I suppose it makes sense really when you think about it, but results in people remembering the name and the face, but not the material, not the music, that sort of thing. Exactly. Whereas I have no idea what Thomas Dolby looks like, but I can still sing She Blinded Me with Science.
Of course. Of course.
That's like a 40-year-old song.
Exactly.
I don't even know which member of the Buggles wrote the music, but I can remember his, video
Trevor
killed
Horn.
the radio star.
Trevor Horn, I believe it was. So, yeah. So what did she do after this single? What did she do after this?
Oh, okay, yes. Sorry. In 2009, she released her second studio album, Echo, and recorded the theme song, I See You, for the film Avatar.
Oh, fuck.
Which was possibly, still is, no, it can't still be, but it was the biggest film of all time then. Remember last week when I was saying how nobody remembers the songs from big budget films anymore?
Yeah.
Well, that's because they keep using shit like Bleeding Love instead of high quality enduring masterpieces such as Take My Breath Away by Berlin.
Yeah, that's fucking great.
Peter Cetera's Glory of Love from Karate Kid.
Definitely. Look, do you think that James will be giving Leona a call for the Avatar Suits, like number 2 soundtrack? Do you think he'll be doing that? So
somehow I doubt it. I'm guessing he'll pick some really cutting edge, relevant band like, say One Republic to come out.
Look, what I like about James Cameron is he strikes while the iron's hot, doesn't he? So look,
does,
the Avatar sequel, I think it's going to come in the next year or two, apparently. A mere 14 years after the original.
right.
Is there anyone anywhere in the world who could possibly give a flying shit about an Avatar sequel in 2022?
The terrifying thing for people who have even the slightest interest in James Cameron's state of mental health is that every single time I read an interview with James Cameron or anything where anybody talks to him about Avatar, he seems to have doubled down on the number of sequels
He's making
made.
6 now, I think.
Started off with, it was doing the second one, then it was going to be a trilogy. Yeah, last time I heard it climbed past 4 or 5 into 6.
Yeah.
Do these films exist? Are they in his mind only?
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. I'm a bit worried about this blue.
When we look at his
bullshit.
body of work, obviously starting with Piranha 2 and working all the way through to Avatar 6, there's going to be a period of time, I think, where people are just like going, yeah, his best days were behind him around
The Titanic
Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
Yeah, it's a bit
I mean, Titanic was a big hit, but even that as a film was a bit...
I have this mental image of him at the Oscars, like clutching an actual armful of Oscars, just yelling his head off at the podium.
Yep.
And I can't help but think he may have learned the wrong lesson in that movie.
Yeah.
That making
Dog
the
shit.
lowest common denominator stuff was the best possible plan.
exactly.
That not only will you get massive financial success, but critical success as well.
Imagine if Titanic was in 3D. It would have made $25 billion.
I mean, if he said he wanted to do Terminator 7, I'd be like, fuck it, I'll have a crack at that.
Yep.
For sure. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
it couldn't be any worse than Terminator 6.
No.
But Avatar 6?
Yeah, I don't know.
Man.
I don't know.
Anyway.
I think that apart from that sort of Avatar stuff with Leona doing the song for that, did you know that Leona was also a part of Just Stand Up to Cancer, which was a charity supergroup formed after coming to the conclusion that the reason cancer was so rampant and responsible for so many lives being lost was because no one had ever stood up to it before. So the group did. They finally stood up to cancer. Leona and the group, they released a song, and as you know, cancer's no longer with us. So good on her for doing that. In case you want to know who else stood up to cancer, Fergie. So it was obviously a top-notch song.
Okay.
Definitely.
What was the song?
Couldn't tell you, but it got rid of cancer, so that's the main thing.
Okay.
Cancer's eradicated.
They cancelled each other
They
out.
did, yep,
I
definitely.
see.
So it was all right. What about the lyrics to this? Anything good there?
This is written by Jesse McCartney.
Oh,
who
fucking hell.
you might know from this song or his many personal albums that neither you nor anyone you know has ever heard of.
Look, here I was thinking that Jesse just churned out dog shit singles for himself. Remember that one of his from the other week? But, I apologise to Jesse. That's
was there
unfair.
one?
Yeah, remember? Like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Oh, I'd
It was a
completely
it was
forgotten
fucking
Okay.
garbage. Yeah, it was some bullshit. So I thought that he was just churning out trash for himself. I apologise,
No.
Jesse. That was not right of me to say that. He's also churning out dog shit for others as well. So, but as One Republic have advised me, Tom, sorry, Jesse, it's too late to apologise. So I won't apologise for ragging on your songwriting talents, although they
Jesse.
are terrible. Yep. Sorry, I've interrupted you
There's
as you're
lots
about
of
to drop
songs
some.
about Jesse.
Yeah.
It's weird.
There
Jesse's
is.
girl.
Joshua Caddison. Jesse, paint a picture
Yep.
about how it's going to
The
be.
Foves did that song called Jesse about a dog.
Oh, yeah.
There's Hey Jesse.
Yep.
Is that Hey Jealousy?
Hey, jealousy. I think it
Does
is.
that say Jesse in it, or maybe
it
it just
says
sounds
jealousy.
like he said it? Anyway.
During the grunge era, it was very difficult to decipher lyrics. Some of those sort of Eddie Vedder. I think those lyrics are harder to decipher than like a brutal death metal band with the dude
Yes.
just going like.
Definitely. I have yet to meet anyone who can confidently tell me what the lyrics to Yellow Leadbetter are, for
No,
instance.
no one can definitely, or even Hinder, Lips of an Angel for that matter.
I don't care what they say. I'm in love with you. They try to pull me away, but they don't know the truth. My heart's crippled by the vein that I keep on closing. Oh, you cut me open and I keep bleeding, keep bleeding love. I keep bleeding, keep bleeding love.
Yeah.
Call me crazy, but maybe your friends are right, possibly.
Yeah.
If the first metaphor that springs to mind writing your relationship is a haemophiliac being bled to death, unless your partner is an actual vampire, In that case, you'll shortly be immortal and none of this shit will matter. So, knock yourself out.
No, look,
Enjoy
exactly
never
right.
getting annoyed in queues anymore. Fuck garlic. You know how sometimes there's a person in a queue at the bank who just seems really chill and happy to be there?
Yep.
It's usually a vampire.
It's without
they don't
doubt.
care. They've got nothing but time.
Yep. It's a daywalker, like...
That's right.
in Blade.
Like Blade.
Yeah,
That's
for
exactly
sure.
right.
It is just Wesley Snipes. So, 7 million Spotify monthly listeners for Leona. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
That's a fuckload. This song has been streamed on Spotify 637 million times.
Fucking hell.
So that's a lot just on Spotify.
Well, like we said, she had somehow 10 times platinum in the UK. She had the fourth biggest song of the biggest album of the aughts somehow.
But still only costs you 16 cents on Discogs, so jump onto that. There you go. Look, up next, Tom.
Up next.
Don't Stop the Music by Rihanna. She's back. I told you she's going to be all over the fucking place now on. What do you got for me on this one? What can you tell me?
4 weeks. This is credited to Mikkel Storlier Eriksson, Frankie Storm, Tor Erik Hermansen.
Are these guys out of Sweden, perchance? Or?
Yes. I don't know what the fuck it is about Sweden, but Jesus Christ,
They know how to write a song, don't
churn
they?
out pop
Max
hits.
Martin, I mean, fucking hell.
Exactly, yeah. No, there's more of them will pop up this year.
Yep.
Combined, those three have too many mainstream pop hits to recount. Like, honestly, if I just started, there'd be way too much. Let's just say there's a bit too much Sam Smith for comfort, but plenty of other stuff that you would have heard of. Michael Jackson is also credited for their sampling of the line "Mama Say, Mama Sa, Mama Kusa" in this song.
getting credit for that?
Yes, he is. From Jackson's 1983 single "Wanna Be Startin' Something." Both Rihanna and Jackson were sued by Cameroonian musician Manu Dibango, who asserted that the hook originated in his 1972 song Soul Makusa, because it definitely did if you listen to it. Have you heard that song?
I have, yeah.
100%.
Well, that's why I was saying about MJ. I was like, I'm pretty sure I'd heard that prior to.
I think because that song's 1983, I think that was pre, lawsuit for just ripping stuff off. Back then it was like, they'll be right.
You couldn't find a copy of the original to prove
That's
it.
right,
People were just like,
exactly.
what?
I hope Manu doesn't find out about the Bloodhound Gang song Mama Say, because I doubt the royalties the Bloodhound Gang are getting from that song would add up to a lot of lawyers' fees, even if you threw in the ones from Kiss Me Where It Smells Funny or A Lap Dance Is Always Better When the Stripper Is Crying. Yeah. I still don't think that would add up to much. Look, this is basically a sort of another Euro new disco style dance floor banger that owes a lot to Kylie's last 3 albums and Madonna's UK dance album, as does Lady Gaga's earlier stuff as well, especially in production terms. It uses that sort of then fairly new production style pioneered by Daft Punk that sounds like you're hearing it inside a nightclub.
Yep.
That sort of gated it's hard to describe. I'm sure a real producer could tell me straight away
What effects they've used on that.
Yeah, it's that kind of... It's a slightly muffled effect that makes things sound like you're hearing them in a nightclub.
Yep.
But yeah, not a real nightclub, obviously. One in a movie with perfect sound system, podium dancers that looked like JT, and a toilet that was cleaned since 9/11. But
I think I can use that effect on GarageBand, Tom. So maybe while you're saying this in the editing process, I can make you go into that thing. So I think you just drag the thing along a bit, whatever. So, yep.
Look, the video is just Rihanna dancing in that same imaginary nightclub. It's got a very fourth single off the album when we've run out of promo cash vibe. At least it's not a studio video with Run Republic or something as cheap ass as that. But present day Rihanna would never plop out something this visually dull, I don't think.
No.
It doesn't even feature product placement. She was so young back then.
Yeah.
It's got to number 3 in the US, but if this had come out 5 years earlier, maybe it would have done better, I reckon.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, you're right with the video clip, Tom. They clearly dropped all the cash on the silver body paint in Umbrella. Either that or the cars in the video for Shut Up and Drive, which was the single prior to this one. Features Rihanna working in an illegal chop shop. That explains part of her $1.7 billion empire anyway. And also, inevitably, some stunt bros were driving expensive cars recklessly in an effort to impress Rihanna. And I dare say that probably several of those cars were destroyed and 7 people probably died in that sort of making that video clip. So, shut up and drive. That was also a rock song from Rihanna, Shut Up and
Yeah.
Drive. It had either heavily processed guitars or some sort of Casio keyboard guitar type sound on there. There were definitely
Yeah.
guitars in Shut Up and Drive, which was unusual for Rihanna. But look, this is Rihanna's entry into the songs about music genre.
Yeah.
So the very best of is obviously Gloria, I Taught Shakira English and How to Funnel Money into an Offshore Bank Account. Estevan's Turn the Beat Around.
Sure.
It's one of my favourites from the genre. But my personal favourite is the mid-2000s Eurobeats act Cascadia, Evacuate the Dance Floor, which is a song about how the DJ is so good you need to evacuate the dance floor because the beat is, quote, killing me. So if only that song was played during that Romanian nightclub fire a few years ago, perhaps not so many people would have died. But
Yeah, I mean, there were plenty of nights at the saloon where the bouncers had to evacuate the dance floor, but usually had something to do with bodily fluids. Three bogans having a knife fight.
Yeah.
Or Midge trying to steal the wooden cigar Indian again.
Yeah, absolutely right. So, look, if you're not familiar with Evacuate the Dance Floor, check it out. It's very, very good. So,
Yeah, no, I know I am familiar with the style that you mean. I mean, like in the last 3 years, we were talking about Madonna's album Music, which is a whole album about music, songs off that, which are a lot of which are in this similar vibe. That's what I meant by saying if this had come out 5 years earlier.
Yeah.
It's not a bad song, it just sounds a bit derivative of that sound for
Absolutely.
2008. This wasn't new. Yeah, if it just come out in 2003, I reckon it would have been more of a hit. But
yeah. So, look, I think...
it sounds like something Kylie would do to me.
Yeah, no doubt. While we're talking, obviously, we sort of mentioned a couple of weeks ago that Rihanna has so many hits that we don't want to talk about all the Rihanna stuff at once.
Oh, yeah.
But
There were plenty that weren't number one that were in the top
No.
10 this year. Like 5 other songs off that album were hits in Australia.
exactly. So I should mention, though, that Rihanna was declared a national hero of Barbados on the first day of the country's parliamentary republic in 2021, so last year. So that entitles her to the right excellence for life. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but she gets some sort of life, knowledge of being, just a national hero of Barbados. Now,
She gets
what I
the
like
key
about,
to Barbados.
yeah, she does effectively. What about this is what I like about Barbados, that in most countries a national hero is someone who blew up the leader of a terrorist organisation or did something really good in sport, like win a yacht race that no one gives a flying fuck about. But in Barbados, they're like, Umbrella was a banger, so you're now a national hero. Not only that, she's appointed as the ambassador of education, tourism and investment by the government of Barbados in 2018. So look, I look at that and just go, investment, sure. She's obviously a billionaire,
Yep.
entrepreneur.
Can't argue with that.
Tourism, yep. A lot of dudes are looking at that saying, come to Barbados and try and bang chicks that look like Rihanna. So that'll get people there, tourism. But I'm unsold on education, and I think Rihanna is pretty much saying, just drop out of school at 15 and become a singer, as long as, you're hot, I guess. So I don't really know whether Rihanna, to me, is saying stay in school. I think she's saying the complete opposite of stay in school.
She's saying shut up and drive.
She's saying shut up and drive. That's exactly what she's saying.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. I think they might have over-egged the pudding there a bit. The first two perfectly make sense, but yeah.
She is a national hero.
I suppose with a country like Barbados, not a huge country, you don't often get world-famous people representing your country. You're lucky if you get Will.i.am.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying anything either, I'm from Tasmania. We get like one person every couple of decades from here.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, I guess you take what you can get. You just give them every award you can fucking think of.
You certainly do. Yeah. This has got some
I think
pretty
she got
great
Father
lyrics.
of the Year at one point.
Rihanna, yeah, no doubt.
Please go on.
I was just going to say the lyrics for "Don't Stop the Music." Are
go
basically
for it.
about not stopping. No, you can.
Oh
you got
yeah.
some-
Oh sorry. I thought you had something.
No.
Do you know what you started? I just came here to party, but now we're rocking on the dance floor, acting naughty. Doesn't really rhyme, but never mind. Your hands around my waist, just let the music play. We're hand in hand, chest to chest, and now we're face to face. These three producers spend too much time in the studio because apparently they haven't hit the dance floor since people were doing the Charleston. Try putting your hands around someone's waist in regimes and see what happens.
Yeah.
You get a schooner of Bundy and Coke in the face, quickly followed by the glass it came from, Ben.
Absolutely.
Also, how the fuck are you chest to chest if you're not face to face?
Yeah.
Are you pigeons? Maybe that's what acting naughty means. I know Yanks aren't on the metric system, but in the saloon, acting naughty usually meant having unprotected sex on top of a broken pool table while hitting a goon bag you'd smuggled in by pretending to be pregnant.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, clearly Rihanna's got something different in mind.
A different idea about what it is to be...
She's talking about some sort of spinal column defying dance move.
Acting naughty. So, like, is she like an owl or something? Can twist her head completely around.
Yeah, you got your hands around her waist, but you're also hand in hand and chest to chest, but not face to face.
Yeah, fuck knows
Yeah,
what she's
complicated
doing.
stuff.
Oh, it's very, very complicated. I completely agree. Now, look, do you have anything else to say about this one?
No.
50 million for Rihanna. We know she's got a lot of Spotify listeners. This has had 530 million streams on Spotify. It's not even her biggest song, so it's a lot.
No.
Buy this for 58 cents on Discogs, so there you go. Good times.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely. Up next is, well, it's probably the best song of the decade, isn't it? Flow Rider featuring T-Pain, Low. What can you tell me about this?
Well, not to be confused with Low Flow by Porcelain Rider featuring T-Pain, which is about those toilets that can only manage about one golf ball sized shit before they block up.
Yep.
Or Aren't Flow by Period Pain featuring C-Rag, which is the menstruation anthem people were hoping for after Rihanna disappointed us all with Bleeding Love. But, look, anyway, it was around this time in 2008 that people began to hear a rumour on the streets that Shorty got low, Ben.
Yep.
How low? Quite low indeed. Certainly low enough to reiterate at length, I would say. I think Shorty was either some sort of limbo champion or she just had extremely lax moral standards, perhaps. Like the sort of person who'd drop a top decker in your system and then go on holiday for 3 weeks.
Completely agreed, yeah. I think so. Look, I could never determine if Shorty was real good at limbo, as you mentioned, and pursuing this at like an Olympic level, or blowing dudes in the club. Like, I was never quite sure what T-Pain and the Flow Rider was talking about.
Physically.
But look, she did have those Reeboks with the strap. So I assume it was the latter. She was blowing dudes in the club. As a real athlete, wouldn't be wearing Reeboks. They'd be wearing Puma discs or the Adidas with the torsion bar. Tom, if you remember those. So.
I had a pair of those.
Yep, there you go.
They were excellent.
That's what the athletes are wearing. Reeboks with a strap is just saying blowing dudes to me. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was always imagining her, shaking her ass down to the ground. But the more I think about it, that's not really a dance move.
No.
It's just going to make it look like you've had an accident.
Yeah, I think so.
Even twerking doesn't involve trying to get your ass as close to the ground as possible.
Not at all. Not at all. Exactly right.
Yeah, it's a mystery. But one thing's for sure, Ben, she did get low.
Well, she did, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, look, T-Pain returns to the charts using his trademark vocoder stylings to help Flow Rider's debut single, which is the one that put Flow Rider on the map, turn him into whatever the Miami version of a star is. I don't know, the next Pitbull or some shit, probably. Sponsored line of pet alligator jewellery, guest role as a dead rent boy in Bad Boys 4, etc.
Yeah, exactly. Look, you know I'm a huge Pitbull fan, Tom. In fact...
He just says Miami to me.
Oh, for sure. My next rap name might be Shitbull, as a homage to Mr. International himself. But I knew that Flow Rider was the real deal and had the potential to be bigger than Pitbull when I saw him in the music video for Let It Roll. I don't know if you're familiar with that, Tom, but it's just him cruising along a boardwalk somewhere in Miami on roller skates and a shirt that looks like someone's run over it with a lawnmower. It's just like tattered. It's just like fucking shredded as hell, and it's just real short shorts, a fucked up shirt, and this Flow Rider roller skating down there just going, yep, Let It Roll is that one. So
hang on, are we talking rollerblades?
Or roller skates, yeah. And then in the next sequence, he's using one of those jetpacks and just pops out of the ocean. So I saw that and went, fuck yeah, Flow Rider's the real deal.
That definitely says Florida to me.
Yeah, no doubt.
Absolutely no idea of how you come across personal appearance-wise. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Look, weirdly, for a song called Low, this production is seriously lacking in bass.
Yeah.
I found it anyway. Don't Stop the Music has a way better overall sound than this, I thought. there's probably more going on here, but it sort of sounds like less to me. So what did you think? Would you rather this or Rihanna in a nightclub if you...
Oh, this needs more bass drop, and DJ Monte should be ashamed of himself as a producer of this one, because I completely agree that, I was listening to it on YouTube, so I'm not sure whether they compress the audio or do something shitty on there, but I certainly wasn't listening to this going, this should, Miami bass, it's the fucking genre is called, so you'd thinking Flowrider should just be cranking the bass to levels, unheard of, just get some of that, 808 action in there. Flowrider just didn't do it, and this sort of it sounds a bit weak. I don't know.
This is a recurrent theme. At first, I thought it was just a coincidence, but this is a recurrent theme with this kind of style of music over the past few years, and I suspect that maybe it's because it's like they know they're going to get played at testicle destroying volume in a nightclub, so they don't feel like they need to kind of add any kind of subtlety or depth to the sound.
Yep.
Because it's going to get blasted out of a lowered Corvette painted fluorescent pink or at deafening volume outside through a nightclub speakers. It's like, hey, they'll, these fucking gigantic obelisk-sized speakers will do the hard yards and I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, look, fortunately, Tom, when I bought the CD single of this back in 2008, I was listening to it on my Discman that did have mega bass, so I was able... As long as I held down the mega bass button, it did pump. But on YouTube, without the advantage of being able to press mega bass, it just sounded like arse.
But even that, like I was saying, like even listening to it through shitty laptop speakers, that Don't Stop the Music by Rihanna
sounded better.
Sounded better than this, and it's got more going on in between as well.
Exactly.
Anyway. This was featured in Step Up to the Streets soundtrack. Once again, it's not exactly something truly lasting like Man in Motion from St. Elmo's Fire, but it is a fuck sight more memorable than whatever that song from Avatar was I've already forgotten.
Yeah, I can't even tell you.
If you could program the soundtrack for the upcoming Avatar 2, who would you have doing the title song if Peter Cetera was busy that week?
Oh, look, I'd be hitting up either Stan Bush, as you know from The Touch, or Giorgio Moroder.
Giorgio Moroder.
Look, I know that he's a legend in the Italian disco scene and maybe an obvious choice, but have you fucking heard Push It to the Limit from the Scarface soundtrack? You know that one? Push It to the Limit?
I do.
Fucking oath. If that doesn't make you want to do 5 grams of coke, dance for 72 hours non-stop and punch out a 7-Eleven window on the walk home 10 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, then you're dead inside. That is a fucking banger.
He's a fucking legend.
Well, he wrote all the music for the whole... the whole music he wrote, all the song... The Scarface soundtrack has a heap of different vocalists, but he did all the music for that.
Oh, okay.
So, and there's a lot of fucking bangers on that shit. But outside of that, he's just got hits a go-go.
I was disappointed to discover that he didn't, as I had long thought, write the Knight Rider theme song.
Oh, he didn't?
Just because the Knight Rider theme song sounds exactly like a Giorgio Moroder song.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I was a bit disappointed. Whoever wrote that was obviously influenced by him. But
no doubt.
Look up that Scarface soundtrack.
Look, it is pretty good. So he did a lot of shit. Flashdance. He's all over the fucking place. This guy.
Yes.
So
Avatar is definitely missing synths.
Was Moroder involved in Together in Electric Dreams? Is that what
he actually might have been. Fucking who knows?
I hope so, but because I think that it is Giorgio. Together in Electric Dreams, Giorgio Moroder and Philip Oakey from I think that dude was in the fuck group was he in?
Yeah.
Like the Human League or some shit? Yeah, he was, yeah. So it's the dude from the Human League plus Giorgio Moroder Together in Electric Dreams. That's a fucking banger as well.
That's why the song from Electric Dreams,
Yep.
Still gets played on the radio, whereas I don't know anyone who's seen Electric Dreams except you, and you are
Yep.
a connoisseur of
fine films, yeah.
80s computers are literally magic films.
Yeah,
as we
exactly.
know.
Yeah.
Not to mention 90s, the virtual reality is literally magic films.
If you've not seen Together in Electric Dreams, the takeaway, Tom, is don't spill a bottle of wine on your computer, otherwise
Yes.
it will try and bang your girlfriend. So,
And we don't mean that metaphorically. We mean
that
the
literally.
Commodore 64 is trying to have sex with his girlfriend.
Yeah, for sure. I don't even know how. Like, did they
No.
even have modems back then?
I'm
or
not
the
sure
internet?
if the computer with its 64K of onboard RAM had thought as far as how am I going to put anything into this woman's
How am I going to
vagina?
finger slay this chick when I'm just literally a keyboard? And so don't worry about that. We'll deal with that later. So, but yeah, look, it's
Side note, do you know Giorgio Moroder had a car?
did he?
Yes, there's a guy, an unstable Italian guy got kicked out of Lamborghini because he wanted to go off on his own, and he hooked up with Giorgio Moroder, and they made a car, which is one of the most insane cars that was ever made. It's a V16 with
Sweet.
a transverse engine. It's fucking sick.
That
It's
sounds good.
absolute. They do exist, but after they'd made exactly one model, being two unstable Italians, they had a giant unstable Italian style bust off, told each other to fuck off and left. But so they made a dozen or so of these cars, but one of them does actually have Moroder written on the back, which might be the coolest car
It's fucking
ever
so
made.
sick. Yeah, exactly.
You know.
V16 sounds like it's a smart move with petrol prices as they are. I'm sure that would only cost $900 to get from here to the airport, but good times. So that's who I'd go for, Giorgio Moroder, to answer your question,
Yes.
Tom. What about the lyrics of this? These lyrics are some of the finest ever written, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people know them. I wasn't sure on the exact specifics. According to rumour, Shorty had them apple-bottom jeans, boots with the fur.
Yep.
The whole club was looking at her. She hit the floor. Next thing you know, Shorty got low. She had them baggy sweatpants and the Reeboks with the straps. She turned around and gave that booty a smack.
Yep.
So it seems like Shorty was dressed in tracky dacks over the top of tight jeans.
Yep.
Tucked into Reeboks, which were inside some sort of fur-lined snowboarding
That's what I never
boots,
understood. She's wearing 2 pairs of shoes in this? What the
but
fuck?
has no top on.
Yeah.
So no wonder she got low. She clearly tripped over her own pants before the bouncers grabbed her on the floor, I think.
Yeah.
In fact, by the end of the song, it's pretty clear what happened here, which is that Flo Rida has got a bone on for a homeless chick with her tits out that wandered in off the street looking for cigarette butts, then collapsed on the dance floor,
Yep.
which is presumably why everybody was looking at her. In Miami, they call that a Quiet Tuesday, and I believe Flo Rida is still married to that woman.
Yeah, that's
to
on
this
brand
day.
for Flo Rida. It sounds like him. He would have taken her out on the jetpack in the ocean.
Yep, they
and
go
then-
roller skating
Yep.
down the pier every weekend.
Absolutely. I remember at the time thinking, what in the living fuck are apple bottom jeans?
Well, it is a brand.
Yeah, it is. I
Yeah.
had to Google, when this song
No,
came,
I
was like,
remember
what the
that
fuck
too. I was like,
So,
is
yeah.
that an expression for
Yeah.
asses that I've never heard of? Like, does it mean your ass is like apple shaped?
But
like,
it is just, jeans, and on the pocket it just has apple sort of, those embroidered back pockets.
Oh,
I think it has
okay,
like a
yep.
picture of an apple on there.
Yep, I
And
gotcha.
I sort of thought, okay, is that sort of like a 26 red type brand or sort of, like those
Cross
really
colours,
cross colours as it
3
got.
feet
So I thought,
wide.
what's happening with apple bottom these days? Because ever since T-Pain dropped apple bottom jeans,
Oh, that must have been huge.
That's what I thought. Are they still going today? And it turns out the company's had a bit of a few problems in recent times. But fear not, Tom, because in 2020 it was announced that they were making a comeback by none other than Nelly himself. So
Wow.
he said, I'm bringing them back. So if you go down to Nellyville, it's just apple bottom jeans,
As far as
free
the eye can
education as far as you can see. So it's a good place down there.
They really should have done a fucking collaboration with Reeboks with the straps as well.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to buy a pair of Reeboks with a strap. I don't know which ones. I hope there's Reebok pumps with a strap because I'm on top of that shit.
I actually, there was a girl that I was going out with a long time ago, and I bought her a pair of Rihanna.
Oh,
She did a range of like
Pumas.
Yeah, I think.
Or did she release some
maybe,
Reeboks
No,
as
they
well?
might have been Pumas. Yeah, they were fucking cool. They were these really cool high tops.
That was one
Yeah.
of her first forays, I believe, into collaboration.
Yes, that would have been not that far from this time.
Yep.
So she would have been pre-billionaire status.
She
but
got a
yeah.
bit of cash from the chop shop, and then she did some
Yeah, it
Pumas.
was just
and then,
when Kanye started too.
Oh, yeah.
When he, so she was onto. She was obviously she does have an eye for finance and what's
I
going.
tell you what,
be
I
next.
would love to see a Rihanna Kanye shoe collaboration. That'd be out of this world. So I don't know
That'd
what
be
it'd be
fucking
fucking
crazy.
insane. Yeah, exactly. So look. Flowrider, 23 mil on the Spotify. Doesn't surprise you. People love that guy. 11 million for T-Pain.
A lot, though.
Good
That's
times.
half as many as Rihanna.
Yeah, I know. 11 million for T-Pain. That's a shitload as well.
Yeah.
656 million streams for this on Spotify. Doesn't surprise me at all. I still listen to this 2-3 times a day. And $1.86.
Fuck, I know. That's a lot.
So yeah, you're almost $2 for this one.
Oh.
So that's pricey.
I wonder if they're... I mean, they can't have been undersold. Maybe they're still highly sought after.
Could well be, absolutely.
Maybe.
Tell you what else is highly sought after, Tom. Bubbly by Colby Calais. Is that how you say her last name?
Usually there's one
Colby.
person a year that I've completely forgotten. This year there's two, and the other one was this person.
Completely forgotten. I don't think I've ever heard of this person before in my life.
It's only 1 week.
Yeah.
Once I'd heard the song, I remembered it.
You were like,
Yeah, but I couldn't remember her name or anything. Like, I must have just heard it in the background. But
Yep.
yeah, look, if you like Jack Johnson, but put off by his history of violence and guitar shredding, then this might be what you're after.
Yeah.
This is from Colby's debut album, Coco, age 22, and got to number 5 on the US Billboard charts. Her second album, Breakthrough, debuted at number 1 somehow.
oh, wow.
Looking at her career made me feel like an American reading about Delta Goodrem, and
Yeah.
thinking, how can this person have been so successful yet I've never heard a single song by them?
Yep.
And also, wow, there's a huge market for piss weak strum pop that sounds like every song was written for a fabric softener commercial, which is exactly what this is.
Yeah.
Like, the video is basically Delta Goodrem goes to the shack.
Yeah.
Whatever you're imagining, drop the excitement levels about 45% and you've got this.
Oh, look, I think, Tom, you're being a bit unfair saying it sounds like it was written for a fabric softener commercial. I'm getting more of a probiotic yogurt vibe, but it's very much in the same wheelhouse.
Thinking about it, it's kind of like the audio equivalent of a live, laugh, love framed thing bought from a $2 shop, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
and stuck to the wall of the second home, not
Yep.
the good home, and not in the lounge room, like in the guest room,
Yep.
you know, where you, yeah.
These are the types of songs that a neural network will be writing in about 18 months, I think.
Yes.
I think even if they're not already, if AI isn't already composing
Calculated
songs of
to-
just this bland sort of
42-year-old
we've just-
suburban housewife earning between $63,000 and $65,000 living in outer...
So Colby was apparently another MySpace artist, which seems to have, by this stage almost, we did have Leona earlier, but the MySpace is sort of taken over a little bit from the sort of Australian Idol and X Factor, because someone at a record label said, we don't even have to make the fucking TV show anymore. We can just
Yeah.
go and find them on the internet. And
Yep.
then we can just do a PR thing, release a statement going,
Yeah.
they were found on the internet. Everyone's like, what in the
Yes,
world? And
we talked about
wait,
that
an
a few
unsigned
times.
artist on the internet? And that was like a novel fucking concept back then. But now every single person on the face of the planet does that sort of shit. So,
Yeah.
but look, they're still making those the TV sort of fucking spin the chair around X Factor
They
shit,
are.
which surprises me. But I can't imagine anyone, older than 12, or younger than 65 is sort of listening to it, sort of in that demographic. So
I think people still watch them, but I think everybody's pretty much abandoned the idea that anyone's going to get much of a career out of it.
Yeah.
They just accepted the fact that, hey, we like watching the chairs turn around, and
Yeah, exactly.
maybe they turn out to be a better singer than you're expecting. But the idea that whoever comes on this show is going to be launched into pop stardom has been...
Yeah.
I don't even bother pretending that's going to happen anymore. I don't
Oh,
think.
exactly. But look, this song, I think you're right, Tom. It's about as interesting as an evening with Delta Goodrem concert with songs and pre-approved audience questions brought to you by Mad Max, streamed out of a Westfields food court. So it sort of has that vibe to me. Who wrote this? Did Colby write this herself?
This is written by Colby... I still can't pronounce that last name.
Is it Calais? Is the T
That's
sign
what I
Calais?
thought. Sayat something. Look,
Fucking
anyway.
who cares?
What sort of name is Colby anyway? It's a type
Yep.
of cheese.
It
That's
is.
For sure.
Yep.
It's written by Colby and Jason Reeves, her longtime writing partner. He seemingly managed to get a whole career out of this song being a hit, seeing as it's his biggest credit to date. If you want to get a feel for his overall vibe, the names of his solo projects include The Magnificent Adventures of Heartache and Other Frightening Tales, Caged Birds Set Free, and Songs Are Silent Films,
Oh, fuck
managing an impressive 3 for 3 in both the oxymoronic and moronic categories.
It's not easy to do.
So the exact part they weren't. I thought these Blandos must be partners, but they're not. They
No.
don't seem to have ever hooked up. They just were just like a lifelong writing partner, but this is the absolute peak of their success.
Yeah, absolutely.
Although, as noted, her second album debuted at number 1, so it's not like she was completely a one-hit wonder. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
that in Australia, she definitely was a one-hit wonder.
Look, the follow-up single after, obviously, Bubbly was actually Mistletoe from her Christmas in the Sand album. So
she had a Christmas album.
massive respect for
Awesome.
Colby for going straight in with the Christmas album while you're, quote, at the top of your game, end quote, rather than waiting until you're in an all-time low and the record label's demanding a release to fulfill your contract. You've already released a covers album, you've already done 2 live albums, so you're effectively forced to do a Christmas album. But she didn't do that. She didn't wait till rock bottom. She did it at the top of the game, although for Colby, rock bottom and the top was about 3 weeks between, I think. So
Isn't that exactly what fucking Leona Lewis just did from earlier this year?
yeah, exactly. Like, so usually the Christmas album's about your 8th release when it's just sort of,
yes.
you know, but not these guys. It's just straight in there. It's almost like that Vanilla Ice live album that came out about
Yeah.
3 weeks after To the Extreme, where it's like, we need more content. It's like, more content's the last fucking thing we need. We just need you to
Exactly.
spend some time writing some songs that aren't whatever the
Yes.
fuck you
The
did.
Christmas album is supposed to be the retirement fund, you know, like the songs with fucking, you know, your lounge covers album, songs from the American Songbook or whatever.
The Christmas album is the I'm 55 and just need
Yes.
content. Basically, that's what it is. It's not I'm 23 and I'm just starting out in the record label, so in the record scene. So yeah, so you've talked about obviously the magic of the
Did you have
songwriting
anything else
team.
for this one?
Well, no, I just wanted to say, what are the lyrics that the songwriting team were able to
okay.
conjure?
Well, look, I don't know if people remember this song or not, but my question was, is this song more or less nauseating if she's talking about having an orgasm or falling in love?
Yep.
I can't decide. What do you think?
Look, if it's about being in love, then it's obviously sickening. But if it's about having an orgasm, that she mentions that it starts in her toe, she gets that sort of tingling feeling in her toes,
Yes.
which might not actually be an orgasm, but just a sign that she has diabetes. So she
True.
might want to seek some medical
Yes, or
profession.
is about to have a
help
heart
her.
attack.
Oh, exactly.
I mean, yeah, on the one hand, if she's talking about sex, then it does make a certain amount of sense, as you say.
Yep.
Even if she manages to make it all sound about as exciting as finding a fresh new copy of Woman's Day in a dentist's waiting room.
Yeah.
Undercovers, staying dry and warm, you give me feelings that I adore. Starts in my toes and I crinkle my nose. Oh, Christ. Wherever it goes, I always know that you make me smile. Please stay for a while now. Just take your time wherever you go. But on the other hand, if she is talking about sex, then some
Yeah.
of the lines also include, you've got me feeling like a child now, because every time I see your bubbly face, I get the tingles in a silly place. And that, I think we can agree, sounds more like a federal cybercrime officer trying to bait a pedophile into meeting him in person.
Yeah, fuck, that could have been a lyric from a deep cut on Thriller, really, couldn't it? I think so. Yeah,
a
not-
really deep cut, more in the sub hard drive area that we were talking about. It's from Michael
Definitely.
Jackson's vault.
in a password protected folder, one would suggest. So she's got 7.7 million listeners on Spotify. So people are still listening to this shit. Not me, but someone in America
God,
is.
yeah. I guess it's that second album that we
yeah.
apparently missed out on in
Yeah,
Australia.
Bubbly's been streamed 441 million times on Spotify,
Fuck
and you
me.
can buy this for 30 cents. So there you
Yeah.
go. So cool.
What do we got next?
Up next is Sweet About Me by Gabriella Climmy.
I think it's Chilmi,
Chilmi.
if I remember.
Chilmi.
It's
That-
Italian, I
That
think.
makes Simmy. That would make Chilmi. That'd make more sense. Obviously, I've not heard of her either. Sorry.
No,
Take it away.
I did remember her, but only after listening to the song.
Yep.
This was 5 weeks.
Yep.
Look, I'll get onto it. Some called Gabriella Chilmi Australia's answer to Amy Winehouse, or perhaps Duffy.
Yep.
Either way, she does have a nice contralto, blue-eyed soul type of voice, a bit like Taylor Dane and Anastasia before her.
Yep.
Also, like a lot of Australian vocalists from this era and earlier, it's a bit hard to be sure if she's doing an accent or an impersonation.
Yep.
Sometimes those lines get a bit blurry. But either way, I actually don't mind this song. I mean, I do like Amy Winehouse, which probably helps, and sadly she's not putting out a lot of new music these days. But listening back to this, I was pleasantly surprised to discover, A, that she had nothing to do with reality TV, which I'd vaguely half remembered that she did, and B, that this song was actually better than I remembered. Like, as a sort of Amy Winehouse B-side type of thing.
Correct, yeah. Well, this is what you get when you buy an Amy Winehouse CD on Wish, I believe. You sort of this comes in the mail. But look, I'd never heard this before in my life. It is funny how, you know, some songs that make it to number one, or you know, just in the top 10, you know, make it number one for like 1 week or something, or they're in the top, or even just land at 23 or whatever. But decades later, 30 years later, you know, people are still playing them, whether it's, you know, Tom Cochrane, Life is a Highway, Snow, Girl, I've Been Hurt, you know, those songs that people still pump daily now, 30 years on.
Yeah.
But then you've got this song, which is a number one for 5 weeks, but I feel like, you know, I've never heard this song. So have they just not played it in the in the 15 years since it came out?
It didn't achieve dad rock, classic rock status.
No.
And it wasn't alternative popular. It wasn't played on Triple J or anything like that.
I'll tune into Cole's radio more and see.
I think I had a similar question about Duffy. Like, I don't know if you remember who Duffy is. I had to look her up in vague terms because I remembered around this time there was another British white singer who was young and had a similar type of voice. So I just typed in vague terms until that popped up. And I was thinking, what the fuck happened to her? Because she was quite popular for a year or two as well.
I forgot about Duffy,
But I guess they went the same way. Look, this won 6 ARIA awards, was the most played song in the UK for 2009, so they liked it too. It was used in 4 different international commercials and played in an episode of Rock of Love Charm School.
Good.
Now, Ben, I know you're a huge fan of Poison, Bret Michaels, and Rock of Love. What can you tell me about Charm School?
Well, Tom, Rock of Love Charm School deviated from the premise of the original Rock of Love series.
Which was to find a stripper for Bret Michaels.
Correct, yeah. So Rock of Love Season 1 and 2 were young women competing for the chance to have Bret Michaels serenade them with Every Rose Has Its Thorn, or if you're unlucky, Unskinny Bop, and then have them bone you, basically. That was the prize. Bret Michaels boning you. With Charm School, former contestants from season 1 and 2 of Rock of Love, what they did was they're competing to, quote, develop proper etiquette in order to win $100,000, which is what the producers of the show deemed was the cash equivalent of getting banged by Bret Michaels. So, did I mention it was hosted by Sharon Osbourne?
No.
So that's Charm School. Just people competing to have, you know.
So who was teaching them how to be charming?
Sharon Osbourne was hosting and sort of helping them out. So,
when I think of Sharon Osbourne, I think of.
But let's just say that
huge amounts of charm.
Yeah.
Personal charm.
Look, giving the girls on Charm School, you know, deportation lessons was a fool's errand. Let's admit it. It was like getting Jeffrey Epstein to take an ethics class, or even just observe and adhere to social norms.
It is very difficult to balance a pile of books on your head.
Yeah.
When you've got 600 cc's of silicone weighing you forward at the front,
and 600 cc's of tequila in your bloodstream as well. So.
Still sounds like a more entertaining show than the X Factor, but maybe that's just
exactly.
I'll have to look up a few episodes.
It wasn't my preferred series from the beginning. But then again, what was? I don't know. Not enough Bret Michaels in this one.
It sounds like a knockoff of another show that was around that time, which was called Princess something, where they got a bunch of random drunken slurries from the UK and tried to teach them how to be upper class.
Yeah, people sort of think about how terrible reality TV show is now, and it is, but what people sort of forget is they've refined it down to the point of this is exactly what reality TV needs to be, and it's all total garbage. But back in 15 years ago, people were still trying to find the next Big Brother or the next X Factor, and there was some fucking wild ideas out there. So, I'm not saying that Rock of Love was one of the wild ideas, but there was certainly a lot of completely apeshit reality TV shows that sort of got going. You know, what was it like? You know, fake millionaires, like The Bachelor, and then people would find out the dude's like homeless or something.
Yeah, or there was the one where they somehow convinced or didn't convince people that they were going to be marrying Prince Harry, and then they found out
it just was bullshit.
But I mean,
yeah, exactly right. So a lot of we'll talk about this soon, but a lot of faux sort of gay action as well, where it's sort of like, they'd try and hook someone up, the girls would be trying to compete for someone's affection, and then at the end of the show they'd be like, sorry girls, he's gay, and everyone's like, oh shit, sort of that weird shit where it was sort of like,
funny if we had some trans people in Big Brother and
yes,
see how long
correct.
it takes people to figure out
those sorts of things that would just sort of, at the time people were like, oh, gee,
that was pretty funny, actually. I was momentarily proud of Australia for that. There was an entire British Big Brother style TV show which was a bunch of guys competing for these beautiful women, and then they found out at the end that they were trans people. Yeah,
that was it. Was it? There's something about Miriam or something. Was that the name of the show?
Yeah, and I think there was a knockoff as well. And then she went on, or one of them went on Australian Big Brother. And she walked in, they were talking to them, and, she was introduced as though she was so famous, and then you could sort of hear people in groups sort of talking in the background, while she's mixing in the house at the start, and, people are like, is she famous? And then one of them goes, that's a guy, isn't it? So it lasted, the big reveal lasted about 20 seconds in the show. Well, I don't know. That made me feel proud to be Australian. I don't know why. I mean, that's a weird thing. Let's not get into that too deeply, I suppose.
Definitely. But
I mean, it's just such a weird thing to do.
A lot of bizarre. My favourite.
Throwing stuff at the wall.
We've talked about this before, though. I think, Tom, Chains of Love is my favourite one, where they just chained 5 people together for like a week or something, and then, it was great. So, what else can you tell me about Gabriella?
Look, she was only 17 when this was released, which is another reason to like it, I think.
Yep.
But she had started recording the album Lessons to be Learned, which is what this is from, when she was just 13. 13.
That's good.
I mean, that's pretty fucking young.
Yep.
In between, she moved to London with her family after Chilmi captured the attention of Warner Music executive Michael Parisi while giving an impromptu rendition of the Rolling Stones song Jumpin' Jack Flash at the Lygon Street Festa, a community festival in Melbourne near where we are now.
Yep.
The phrase captured the attention there is draped over some fairly creepy concepts, considering we're talking about a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
But hey, that's pop music for you. 13 years of age and already old enough to capture attention or get married to your cousin, Jerry Lee Lewis.
Absolutely.
Her voice sounds pretty good for someone that young, I reckon, anyway. At 15, I sounded like Mr. Bean, and the only thing anyone discovered about me was that I had a haircut so shit it would occasionally make people burst out laughing in public. So... look, the song's success made Chilmi the youngest person to get number 1 on the ARIA charts. But frankly, at this point, I'm just happy to see an Australian number 1 that isn't from Delta Goodrem or a fucking reality show.
Yep.
These days, Gabriella is working on her 4th album after a bit of a break in the previous decade. She still has a good soul blues voice, I reckon. In 2019, she put out a single called The Sting, which I listened to because of this. I hadn't heard of it, but, who knows? Maybe they played it on Nova. And it definitely sounds a bit more original, this, and her voice is still good,
Look, that's good, yeah. Look, as you said, Tom, I guess she sort of hasn't captured that same success as she did back in 2008, but still working in music, which is good. And as you said, sort of, I think, still lives in London, I believe, today, which is where you want to be when you're in the music, probably.
Yeah,
so,
especially with that kind of voice, they do seem to like
a bit of it. So I think there'll probably be more comebacks or at least more work in the future. So I did read that recently while talking about what she's been up to in London, she said, quote, especially in London and other cities in the world, we forget about Mother Nature. So embrace the weirdo, get outside and just feel the earth on your feet. And look, that's the kind of hippie bullshit I hate. So I hope her comeback's an utter failure.
Also, I'm not sure how many places there are in London you'd want to be walking around with barefoot.
Not many. Not even in Hyde Park near that Princess Di statue. I think you want to have, sort of steel-cap boots. Certainly no open-toe sandals around there.
Is it bad that my favourite song of 2008 is by a teenager from Melbourne?
No, not at all. Look, I remember back in 1991, my favourite song was Criss Cross Jump, and they were only 12. So I was really into 12-year-old boys at the time, not in a Michael Jackson way. I wasn't trying to fuck them. But even if Michael Jackson, I guess even if it wasn't a Michael Jackson way, they were 12, I was 11, so it's completely fine. It's like if Michael Jackson was trying to fuck kids when he was in the Jackson 5, which I think is probably okay, isn't it? Because they're sort of at the same level. But so yeah, look, I think I don't know, but certainly what I'm saying is that I think it's okay. You just like the song. Yeah,
it wasn't what I would have predicted looking back, but it just held up better than the ones that I did remember.
Yeah, you got that Nicky Webster tattoo as well, I guess. So there's that.
That's
but,
true.
Yeah,
as I said, I mean, it does help if you like fucking Amy Winehouse.
So, did she write this one herself? Is that the lyrics?
It's credited to her and 5 other people.
Ah, okay. Well, look, at least she's part of the writing crew.
Yes, yeah. Again, you got to remember she's pretty young, but the 5 other people are the pop production songwriting collective Xenomania, which sounds like a shoot-em-up for the Amstrad CPC 464 with built-in cassette drive. And indeed, member Matt Gray began his career writing music for the Commodore 64. So, unfortunately, it was mostly downhill from there as Xenomania worked on music for Girls Aloud, Pop Stars, and solo singles for former 5-member ABS. That's his real stage name.
Jesus Christ. He's got a lot of face tattoos these days. If you've seen him recently, he looks absolute trash.
Wow, he's probably trying to disguise the
I
fact
remember
that he used to be in 5 and called ABS.
He did one of those things, what did he do? I think they made a reality TV show, where he I'm just tired of the city and I'm buying a farm in the middle of nowhere, and of course he's got no fucking skill set to be able to operate, a working production farm. So I don't know what happened there, but he's gone through a lot of guises. He's the face tat man. Yeah, he is absolutely. Yeah.
He's more than just abdominal muscles.
5 will make you get down now, so low as Shorty probably. So the lyrics though, they must be good.
Tell you something that I've found, that the world's a better place when it's upside down. If there's lessons to be learned, I'd rather get my jamming words in first. When you're playing with desire, don't come running to my place when it burns like fire, boy. And those lyrics aren't terrible, but they're also not particularly evocative and slightly dodgy, being sung by a legal child. However, we get the general vibe, and you can pull that off in a decent song from a good singer. I mean, let's face it, Amy Winehouse's career was launched on the strength of a song about refusing to go to rehab, her dad is an enabler, and her best friends are dead musicians.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like she didn't leave clues.
Exactly right. So Gabriella, she's got 500,000 Spotify listeners. This song's been streamed 43 million times. Good on her. 74 cents on the Discogs. So there you go.
How
Good
many
stuff.
did she have? Sorry?
She's got 500,000 listeners monthly on Spotify. But this particular song's been streamed 43 million times. So there you go. Good.
All right.
So good on her. Well done. That's, 43 million times. What's that, like $40 or something? She'll get a check for from Spotify. I don't think it's very much.
It's hard to tell with Australians, isn't it? It is hard to tell. I was kind of glad to see that she had some success in the UK as well as Australia, that she wasn't,
Exactly. So look, up next is Madonna featuring JT, Justin Timberlake, 4 minutes.
Damn, I forgot to check if it's 4 minutes long. That was dumb. I should have checked that.
Jesus, I hope it is, at least, to sort of close the loop on that. But yeah, what's this one about?
It's about 4 minutes.
Good.
Sorry, couldn't resist. 3 weeks.
Shit.
4 minutes is from Madonna's 11th studio album, Hard Candy, featuring JT and Timberland. According to Madonna, the song is about saving the environment and having a good time while we're doing it. Quote, I don't think it's important to take it too literally. I think the song, more than anything, is about having a sense of urgency, about how we are, living on borrowed time, essentially, and people are becoming much more aware of the environment and how we're destroying the planet. We can't just keep distracting ourselves. We do have to educate ourselves and wake up and do something about it. At the same time, we don't want to be boring and serious and not have fun. So it's kind of like, well, if we're going to save the planet, can we have a good time while we're doing it?
Look, Madonna really hit the nail on the head, I think, with that one, Tom. Most environmental shit, let's face it, is boring as hell. Like picking up rubbish from the side of a highway on a Sunday morning, or having to stop eating wicked wings because of, food production's too much CO2. Nobody wants to be doing that shit. Why not make saving the environment a bit of fun? If you buy an electric car, you can go as fast as you want. How about that for that's the sort of law.
Great.
If you go vegan, you get free tickets to a Moby concert. Well, maybe not that exactly, but you get where I'm going with that. So yeah, just let's save the environment. Sure, I'm on board with that, but let's have a bit of fun while we're doing it. So
yes, I mean we're already literally paying companies to pollute slightly less than they were going to.
Correct.
And by we, I mean taxpayer money is being given directly to them.
Yeah.
So they basically be blackmailing us. So we might as well get it down to the individual. Exactly. Yeah. If we can bribe ExxonMobil to do 1% less air pollution than they were planning to, why can't I get
something out of that?
Yeah, free tyres for my car if I promise to drive it less.
Yeah, I completely agree for sure. Anything that's
free personal training from an attractive 18-year-old if I promise to do more sit-ups and walk places more.
I'd be happy with a couple of bags of carrots, to be honest. Just anything, like fucking hell.
Who doesn't like a bag of carrots?
I'd enjoy carrots, and look, with this sort of inflation shit they're talking about, they're going to be $28 a bag soon. And my kids eat one a day, so I'm going to have to get another job, a second job.
I'll tell you one thing though, Ben. There is definitely, absolutely no possibility that Madonna might have just seen a news headline about Al Gore winning an Oscar and slapped some greenwash onto a dumb pop song about going to a nightclub, and I wish people would stop suggesting that.
Fair enough.
This is definitely about the environment.
Correct.
Commercially, it did well. This got to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, and more impressively was Madonna's 37th top 10 single, breaking the record previously only held by Elvis Presley.
Oh, there you go.
So this is where she overtook fucking Elvis with this nonsense. That's another thing, weirdly, we keep seeing with these. The record tends to not be the thing that you would expect it to be, but anyway. Topped the charts in 21 countries, sold 5 million copies worldwide. Personally, I don't reckon it's as good as her last ARIA #1, Hung Up.
Certainly not.
Which was a much better production than this. That sounds like someone really put a lot of effort into it. Although, to be fair, they're trying something a bit different here. That was sort of new disco. This feels more like a Timberland song, like the ones we've had the last few years, than that sort of stuff. And it makes sense because obviously it's produced by Danger and Timberland.
Yeah. Look, this is pretty forgettable, and I don't know if I've ever heard this before in my life.
Really?
I listened to it, watched the video, and just went, it's either I heard it, I haven't heard it since it came out, and it was so unmemorable at the time that I've sort of wiped it from my memory, but I had no recollection of this whatsoever.
It's definitely... I'd forgotten that JT was involved. All I remembered was just the hook. I just remembered it only got 4 minutes to save the world. That's all I remembered about it.
It turns out that a song about having fun, saving the environment, didn't have the longevity that I guess environmentalists would have wanted it to have. You're sort of like, finally we've got a big #1 song about saving the environment. This is going to turn the tide. But unfortunately it was a shitty song that people forgot.
Yes.
If only, Tones and I, Dance Monkey, had a bit of an environmental bend to it, perhaps.
I mean, the problem is that Madonna has ironically summed it up by accident, which is that the reason that environmental messages are hard to get through to people is because the environment is a lot longer than 4 minute type of a problem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If you only had 4 minutes to save the world, everybody would give a shit about it. The fact that it's going to take 400 years means that pop music isn't much help because everybody just turns their nose up at it. But look, the video is kind of fun.
Yeah, agreed.
There's some half-decent sort of CGI effects and a lot of rad two-person dance action on top of cars all over the shop. Lots of JT and Madonna, they're both good dancers. And they look like they're having heaps of fun, I reckon.
Absolutely. Look, Timberland does some air horn at the start of this as well, which is fucking sick. Timberland has crossed over at this point, to that. I guess it's at that point where you look at previously, Timberland was just the producer of the music, and he was happy to be like, I'll write the music, I'll do the beats, you guys do the vocals and that sort of shit, and I'm not seen, I'm not heard, I'm just happy to get the paycheck coming in, take the royalties, I'm all right. And now at this stage, it's like, I'm producing the music, and you're going to fucking know about it. I'm in the
Yeah,
music video. I'm doing air horn.
That's
I'm going to
right.
do a shitty, like, at the start
And
of
in
One
the-
Republic or
in
whatever.
the contract, there's 60 seconds at the start where I get to go, as many times as I want
yeah,
to. Like,
exactly. So, and look, power to him. I can't be mad at that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Obviously, doing the producing and writing all the songs, it's sort of like, well, do you get the credit? Well, you get some cash out of it, but no one knows who you are. But now, after JT and this sort of shit, everyone knows who he is. So look,
unfortunately, he couldn't put out a clothing line like everybody else
Oh.
did because he'd already named himself after an existing copyrighted form. of
that's
format.
problematic.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I mean, if you said Timberland's doing a crossover with Timberland, like
It's
people
just
would
like,
think you're losing your mind.
Absolutely.
That's why I had to change my name from DJ Apple Bottom Jeans, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure.
Look, this all up, I'd say this is certainly more fun than the aborted Madonna-Bono collaboration would have been.
Fucking
You
oath,
know,
yeah.
I mean, if you think it's hard crowbarring an eco message into a dance song, try doing it with Ethiopian famine.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
It takes a lot more than 4 minutes for that shit.
It does.
Lyrically, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, yeah. But if I die tonight, at least I can say I did what I wanted to do. Tell me, how about you? The time is waiting. We only got 4 minutes to save the world. No hesitating. Grab a boy, then grab a girl. So just to be clear, when Madonna is saying that this song is about addressing the environment and the potential death of the planet, she's decided to really focus on the extremely imminent death of the planet, like approximately 240 seconds away, at which point there's not much left that anyone can practically do except have a threesome with
Yep.
Timberland and Justin Timberlake. Now, I'm not saying that's ethically wrong, I'm just saying for a song about the environment, this does mostly seem to be about raw dogging an ex-member of NSYNC in a parked Datsun 180B.
Yeah, look, exactly. I think Madonna's sort of like, we've only got 4 minutes to save the world, so I'll spend the first 3 minutes getting dicked by two dudes, and hopefully I can pull it all together in the last 60 seconds. But look, and if I get crabs from Justin, just
Yeah.
like I did that teenager I banged back in the 80s, it won't matter anyways. Yeah, I probably left it a bit too late and we're all going to die.
That's
So-
right. Doesn't leave a lot of time for wiping crude oil off seagulls, does it? Really?
It doesn't really. Now, Madonna's got two biological children, one with Carlos Leon and one with Guy Ritchie, as well as 4 kids that she bought, check my notes, adopted from Malawi.
The old Jolie technique.
Yeah, exactly. I do wish, though, Tom, in my heart of hearts, that Madonna and Vanilla Ice had a kid back when they were dating. Just imagine how amazing that would have been. So.
Oh, jeez. Been like some sort of Teutonic marvel.
Exactly. Now, Madonna's got 21 million on Spotify. JT has got 25 million on Spotify. You can buy this for 89 cents. I forgot to look how many
More than
Timberland
I
has,
thought.
but we talked about that last week,
lot,
so
yeah.
fuckload. Yeah, anything else for this one? You
No,
good?
no.
Cool. All right, up next is Jordan Sparks and Chris Brown, No Air.
Oh, actually.
Axel's back.
Sorry. 4 weeks. Axel's pointing out that Jordan Sparks is an American Idol winner. What did you think?
Oh, this was dog shit.
Yeah,
what do you got for me?
It's a shame. She's got a perfectly nice voice for pop music in a sort of breathy TLC ballad kind of way.
but she's
she
no
needed
TLC.
something to distinguish herself for the second single from her debut album. So she thought, heck, why don't I recruit a woman-punching fuckwit man-child in a hoodie? And this song was born. Interestingly, in the song, Chris Brown is dressed like a giant toddler, as you'd expect, also including red and black Air Jordans,
Oh, yeah.
which you'd think would be a no-no, because this song is Nowhere Jordan Sparks. Get it? Because the song...
Yeah, I'm on it, yeah,
The song... Okay. I just...
It's a low watermark.
Maybe it looks better written down. Or maybe it doesn't. It's not even spelt right, sorry.
No,
Please,
it's okay.
get away from
It's
that.
okay.
Got
What do
anything
you
else
like
to
about
add?
this, though? What do you like about
I
this?
don't hate the synthy production
Yep.
on this. It's certainly a cut above what you'd expect for an Idol winner's first album. Definitely an Australian one, anyway. I mean, I think Shannon Knoll's last album was produced by a giant animated can of pre-mixed cougar that he hallucinated after going 3 days without sleep to cover the Wagga Wagga B&S and Abattoir Remodelling Festival.
Yeah, look, the production on this that's right, is a lot better. Look, Jordan Sparks did a feature on a Guy Sebastian song.
Yeah, seems about right.
So she's no stranger to dog shit Australian Idol winner
She's
track
American,
production.
as noted,
but
yeah.
somehow
They
fucking made her work with Guy.
They're on the same 8chan page, I think.
Yeah, the production's decent. You're right, but the song's pretty boring. I was hoping for a Chris Brown rap bridge, but that was not.
He just
not
kind of
forthcoming.
does
He just sort of
background
comes in and
vocals.
goes.
It's not often I hope for anything from Chris Brown, but I thought he could do something more interesting.
Exactly.
Than this.
He's got some good dance moves. That guy should have
Yeah,
he should have deployed
again,
them
he
in
doesn't
this.
really do that in this either. He just
Sweet
kind
fuck
of,
all. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's funny because I thought about Chris Brown as little as possible since he was actually around
Yep.
in his heyday, e.g. about now. And the only reason I'd been thinking about him again was because of us doing this podcast.
Yeah.
Then in my mind, that's what I remembered. I remembered him being a rapper who was a really good dancer, this sort of Usher kind of mode. But looking back at this, I forgot how long he spent basically just doing background vocals, kind of standing around dressed like a giant toddler, doing not much, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like he had to pass through that same JT period of, first of all, you're allowed to do backup, then we'll let you do some dance moves,
Correct.
then you get to move up to, look, the video is as boring as the song.
Agreed.
The only thing interesting about it, to me, is that it starts with the old fake one-sided phone call hang up. You know, I haven't seen a video start like that since fucking, I think it was Boys to Men last hit the charts with Bubble Bath Shorty from the album Condom Filled Jacuzzi 3: Jizz in the Suds. But yeah, you know what I mean, don't you?
Oh,
Where
absolutely.
It's just like, girl, I miss you.
Yep.
Pause. Yeah, I'll see you soon, girl. Hangs up the phone, looks moodily around the flat, rain dribbles down the windows.
Yeah, the one-sided phone call as well featured BlackBerry product placement, just
Oh,
so
I
you
didn't
know it's
notice
2008. Yeah.
Fuck, even in 2008, the Apple iPhone came out a couple of years
I think BlackBerry, this was very much the beginning of
last
their end.
gasp.
So, yeah. So, look, the video sucks. And look, in the video and the song itself, it's it sounds like Chris Brown was her partner or lover in this sort of thing. They've broken up and she's talking about how she misses him and, which is sad. She's not feeling so great. But look, it's not too bad, as usually the end of a relationship with Chris Brown results in a stint in intensive care.
Yeah, it's true. I suppose spending a few hours wandering around some rainy city streets, you get off pretty lightly.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed. Yeah, what about the lyrics?
I know I say this at least once an episode, but seriously, it somehow took 6 fucking people to write this song, none of whom were the singers, including producer Harvey Mason and Damon Thomas, plus James Fauntleroy, Steve Russell, Mike Scala, and Eric Bluetooth Griggs.
Yep.
I don't know why his tooth is blue, but I do know that he's one of the few humans to work with both Dr. Dre and Paulini. Give me some reggae!
That's
Sorry,
the fucking resume, Dr. Dre and Paulini. Look, I assume that maybe Bluetooth technology was sort of in its infancy around this time, so they threw a few bucks his way to change his name to Eric Bluetooth Griggs to try and get the technology, the boost that it needed. But unfortunately, Bluetooth may have chosen the wrong person, so it's just like, who the living fuck is that?
Unless Eric Bluetooth Griggs invented Bluetooth, which explains why it's still in its fucking infancy 14 years later and never connects when you fucking want it to. Seriously. Fucking,
have they improved
Christ.
that since? Because
apparently not.
Yeah.
I remember. Do you remember when Bluetooth first came out? I remember you would go to cafes sometimes, and all the staff would have Bluetooth notepads. It was like, gone are the days of trying to remember orders or using bits of old-fashioned paper and biros.
Yeah.
You just type it in, it goes direct to the kitchen. We've revolutionised it. Yeah, about a year later, suddenly they were all gone. It's weird.
Yeah,
It's almost like everyone went fucking trying to get 10 Bluetooth devices simultaneously operating in a high-pressure environment in a small room. It's just not going to fucking happen.
Yeah, I've got wireless headphones these days, Tom, earbuds, Bluetooth, and they connect very, very well. But I also have like a Bose Bluetooth stereo, like just in my kitchen, just to streaming music, just in the morning sort of thing. And I reckon once a week it just refuses to connect,
That's
even
right.
though I'll use it every day, and it'll be fine. And then one day, one
Yeah.
morning, it'll just not do it. You have to, and it's just like, why in the living
and then
fuck
you
is
end
this
up
happening?
just
So,
randomly plugging and unplugging.
yeah, so
like the old
so
days.
the technology hasn't improved by the sounds of
No,
it. So.
Eric Griggs, lift your
Fuck
fucking
up.
game.
Yeah, exactly.
I think maybe he just got distracted by
Yeah.
doing too many pop songs.
What are the lyrics though? They must be good with 6 people involved, including Eric Bluetooth Griggs.
Yeah. Anyway, 6 people were needed to come up with this tribute to the melancholy yet erotic pleasures of solo asphyxiation. So how do you expect me to live alone with just me? Good rhyme scheme there. Because my world revolves around you. It's so hard for me to breathe with no air.
Yeah.
Can't live, can't breathe with no air. That's how I feel whenever you ain't there. It's no air, no air.
Yeah. So a split from Chris Brown is effectively like living on Mars by the sounds of it with just no oxygen. Which
Apparently,
is
yes.
probably where you want to be because at least he can't get to you there. So
That's true.
unless
That's
he's
true.
probably mates with like Elon Musk or Richard Branson or something, so they could get him there if need be. Oh, my chick's trying to avoid me. Where is she? Mars. Oh, don't worry, I've got a rocket out in the shed. Let's go.
I'd go to Mars to get away from Chris Brown.
Yeah, no
in
doubt.
general,
No
and
doubt.
I'm not even someone he's sexually attracted to.
So Jordan Sparks 3.7 mil, Chris Brown 34 million. Fucking hell, 34 mil. The
That's
fact
nuts.
that he's like an abuser doesn't seem to bother
No,
people.
disturbingly, in a weird
Yeah.
thing that I won't go into too much, to a certain kind of person, like the kind of person who writes love letters to serial murderers in prison, the fact that Chris Brown does beat up people seems to have given him a very select but strangely large female audience as well.
Yeah, weird as hell. This song's been streamed 349 million times on Spotify. You can buy it for 58 cents on the Discogs. So there you go. Fantastic. So up next is Katy Perry with I Kissed a Girl.
Yep.
Wow.
6 weeks.
Yeah,
Wow.
Jesus. What can you tell me about this?
Well, I don't know about you, Ben, but this song made me feel bad for lesbians.
Yeah.
It even made me feel bad for the quasi-fictional lipstick lesbians, much favoured by Hollywood screenwriters, but not much by actual lesbians.
Yeah, look, it's a very, very short road from failed Christian artist to lesbian fetishization, Tom, I believe.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, look, let me say this. I think Katy Perry was a successful Christian artist, or whatever she called herself, something slightly different.
Katie Hudson.
Katie
Yep.
Hudson, yeah. But, yeah, she was never going to achieve the kind of worldwide fame that she currently has.
Yeah, look, if you can't metaphorically suck off Jesus, then why not do a song about getting fake finger slayed at a party by a chick? So look, this is her, I'm going to say 5th attempt at stardom
Oh,
for
really?
Katy Perry. So there's the Katie Hudson Christian album
Yeah.
that she did,
Excuse me.
which I don't think did that well, but was not awful, but was a bit shit. Then after that, you know, she wasn't that wasn't impressive enough. So what happened was that, she has that never give up attitude, which is pretty good.
Which you
So-
don't have, they say.
Yeah. So after that, she recorded an album just called Katy Perry, self-titled album, which was shelved. Then she recorded an album called Fingerprints, which was also shelved, and then she was dropped by her label.
God.
She was doing vocals for a group called The Matrix. Lame.
Yes,
which was
we
also
mentioned them previously.
also cancelled before its release.
Yep.
Although the latter, after she released this single, I Kissed a Girl, and she got big, then obviously, you know, as often happens, those shelved albums, someone's like, I've got the rights to that, I'm going to fucking put that out and make heaps of money off that. So definitely a cash grab. But yeah, so she'd sort of gone through several attempting to be a Christian artist, then attempting to record albums, getting dropped by labels. So she just kept on going. So is that impressive or is that depressing? Because it just means that, she should have... We wouldn't have to listen to 15 years of dog shit songs if she had have just given up. But
I know what you mean. I
think it's impressive because she's obviously one of the biggest performers in the world
is
now.
impressive,
So
but
she's overcome those hurdles.
Yes, I can see why it took a while, though, because you got to say, there's no nice way to put it, but pop music is all about personality and impact and
Yep.
physical appearance and youth and, this weird X factor, hence the name of that stupid show.
Yeah.
And when you watch this, I remember watching this at the time and thinking, well, apart from the vaguely, not even particularly edgy hint of lesbianism, which
No.
is like 10 years out of fashion at this point,
Yep.
and the fact that she's attractive, every other pop song is by an attractive white woman.
Yep.
There really doesn't seem to be anything here. Like,
No.
yeah, and it just like the idea, or there doesn't seem to be anything to differentiate her from a million other people of equal ability
Correct, yeah. Look,
or better ability.
no.
like-
She released an EP just before this song, and the single off that was called You're So Gay. So she definitely had a sort of an angle she was trying to go for. Not sure exactly what that was, but...
is that homophobic? Or?
Oh, yeah, obviously. So then she did
so
that.
it wasn't a compliment.
No, it was like... yeah, I don't fucking know. So she released that,
Geez, she's
and she
touched
was
that one
also a
under the
former
rug.
Christian artist as well. So I don't know
well,
whether.
it makes sense from a Christian perspective.
So she's done that, and then that
blimey.
didn't do so well. Now she's onto I Kissed a Girl, so it's
I
all good times.
I remember her saying when we were talking about The Matrix because they produced one of our previous number one
Yep.
hits. They worked with Avril.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
did
So
her-
she
some
did,
of
I
her
think-
earlier stuff.
Yeah, so I believe
they
Katie
were
did a
so-
full album with
Yes,
The Matrix.
and
Yeah.
they wanted to get it done. She didn't care so much because when it was supposed to be coming out, she hit it big with this stuff. And she said later on, "I'm glad that didn't come out because." According to her, it's not what I was really about, da 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 da. But reading between the lines, I guess it
was a bit-
Yeah, this
bit
was a
more
much
alt.
bigger
This is
success.
Yeah, exactly.
But look, on top of everything else, the idea that this song was even vaguely edgy in 2008 says a lot more about gay politics in America than anything else. Jill Sabine had a minor hit in 95,
Yep.
13 years before this, when you couldn't show two girls kissing in a rock video, with a song called I Kissed a Girl. Musical quality aside, the difference between the two songs is pretty stark.
Yep.
One of them is an unaffectedly quirky little alternative song about a moment of genuine experimentation, which it treats with levity and wit.
Yep.
The other one is a 13 years late electro-pop behemoth that sounds like it was constructed by an AI and sung by a robot to create maximum human pleasure response at lowest possible risk of negative emotional reaction. Sabine shared her feelings about Perry's song and the use of the title in a July 2009 interview with The Rumpers. When Katy Perry's song came out, I started getting tons of inquiries about what I thought. Some folks and protective friends were angry on my behalf and wondered why she took my title and made it into this kind of girls gone wild type of thing. As a musician, I've always refrained from criticising another artist. I was like, well, good for her. It did bug me a little bit, however, when she said she came up with the idea for the title in a dream. In truth, she wrote it with a team of professional writers and was signed by the same guy that signed me in 1995. I have not mentioned that in interviews as I don't want to sound bitter or petty. Okay, maybe, if I really think about it, there were a few jealous and pissed off moments. So here goes, for the first time in an interview, fuck you, Katy Perry, you fucking stupid, maybe not good for the gays, title thieving, haven't heard much else of you, so not quite sure if you're talented, fucking little slut. God, that felt good. Okay, now Jill was clearly joking there, but
Yep.
still, it can't feel good to have a song come out that is like a polyester Kmart version of a song you wrote 13 years earlier with exactly the same name. That's why I only use song titles taken from rejected anal cunt
Yep.
songs, because absolutely nobody on earth would ever copy them or indeed say them out loud.
Yeah, you're probably not winning any fans with song titles like I Sent Concentration Camp Footage to America's Funniest Home Videos, are you? That's probably not really helping you out
No,
there.
but nobody's going to copy it. you
No,
know.
exactly. And look,
It's
you know,
yours.
the guitarist from Anal Cunt did die after trying to slide down the railing of an escalator at a shopping centre and falling 2 floors into the food court onto his head. So it's genuine, deadly serious.
Oh my God.
So in some way,
shouldn't
cosmic
laugh.
justice, I guess.
That's got to be the best rock star death of all time. Are you serious?
Yeah, apparently he slid down a banister at a at a shopping centre in America, fucking around like, whoa, look at me, I'm being crazy. Fell off the side, 2 floors, landed on his head in the food court, died instantly.
Oh my God.
And he was in a band that had some of the most controversial song titles known to man.
Also,
so, there you go.
I'm thinking as well, he wouldn't have been a young man when this happened.
He's about 40 or something.
Yeah, so it's about my age. I mean, it's not that I've never done anything that stupid, but that is a pretty funny way to go for a rock star.
Absolutely. It's sort of
I say
ironic.
rock star, someone in a band.
Absolutely. So, look, I mean, I Kissed a Girl is obviously, one of the songs that Katy Perry is most well known for. There's a lot of other ones as well.
It really did put her to the world.
Put her on the map.
Yep.
My favourite era of Katy Perry is definitely the Witness album era, which I think's probably a couple of years in the future from here, maybe sort of about 10 years on from this. She released a song called Chained to the Rhythm on that album, and which was a song about blind consumerism, doing what we're told to do by the media, ignoring issues because we're sort of blinded, I guess, by other things. So it's sort of quite rich coming from Katy Perry, so very potent. But what she did was she released this song and saying, we need to be aware of these issues and, concentrate less on consumerism, more on some of the big social things that are influencing our world. And I'm going to call this era of my career, quote Tom, purposeful pop. So she's trying to move in a purposeful direction, releasing purposeful pop. She followed that song up with a song called Bon Appetit, which is a song about her, quote, being spread like a buffet and being on the menu so that she can be eaten out by all 3 members of Migos. So that's powerful pop, Tom. Migos guest on that song, and the lyrics do feature, I'm on the menu, eat me, I'm spread like a buffet, Tom. Purposeful pop. So it's about moving in a new direction, doing purposeful things, bringing people to the attention of environmental issues, about not just blind consumerism, focusing on the big issues, those sorts of things. And she's doing that through songs like Chained to the Rhythm and a song about getting eaten out by Migos. So purposeful pop, Tom. Good to see Katy has got rid of the Kissed a Girl thing and moving in a new direction.
Purposeful.
It's very purposeful.
If I wrote a whole song about licking my balls, that would be purposeful.
It's purposeful pop, Tom.
Not exactly environmentally aware.
I think it's directing people away, though, from blind consumerism, towards the issues, so purposeful pop.
She didn't, collaborate with Madonna. They could have done a song called Only Got 4 Minutes to Eat My Vag.
Yeah, exactly. Could have done
like that.
So, look, good on her, though, for moving in that direction. It would have been so simple to just keep tuning out songs like this.
She climbed to the top. People said no. It's like Stallone, People said, no, we're not going to make you a dumb boxing movie, and if we do, you certainly can't appear in it and direct it.
Yep,
absolutely. Also, you're not going to be a movie star because half of your face has been paralysed by a childhood illness. You look weird. You sound weird. You're not going to write it. You're not going to direct. You're not going to star in it. But he proved them wrong. He got to the top. He climbed to the top of the hill, got to the terrace where Bridget Nielsen was lying by the pool. Can't argue with results. People said, Katy Perry, you're a Christian musician. No one cares.
Yep.
You got a boring name. You've changed it to an even more boring name. But, she stuck it out.
Oh, she did, with purposeful pop, so it's good.
What's ever popular fake lesbianism?
Who did she write this? Who was working on this? Who produced this?
Well, Dr. Luke, unfortunately, pops up again. Like Kate Perry's transition from Christian rock to mainstream pop, the Dr. Luke production, the video, and Perry's entire image, the lyrics here feel calculated down to the level of quantum mechanics. Mathematics, I should say.
I think her whole career is that calculated.
Yeah, it certainly was at this stage anyway.
Yep.
I kissed a girl and I liked it. The taste of her cherry chapstick. I kissed a girl just to try it. I hope my boyfriend don't mind it. It felt so wrong, it felt so right. Don't mean I'm in love tonight. No, I don't even know your name. It doesn't matter. You're my experimental game. Just human nature. It's not what good girls do, not how they should behave. So in the space of one verse and half chorus, she's managed to fit in product placement, the mention of alcohol to reassure middle America that this is just the hot MTV type of drunk girl-on-girl action, not the real thing they just voted against. The mention of assuaging her boyfriend to remind us he's still wearing the pants in their safe hetero relationship. The tertiary reassurance that it's definitely not an emotional connection of any kind.
No.
The further denial of any identity whatsoever to the other woman, which manages to objectify her in a way that would sound ridiculously chauvinistic coming from a man and should thus further reassure the audience in its comforting pop familiarity. And lastly, the final reminder that we're all aware good girls don't behave like this. We've just had an extra mojito and we're being naughty. Oh, I hope my boyfriend doesn't see me do a jello shot from Sharon's cleavage. Oh no, my bra is showing. So, yeah, look,
just some wacky hijinks from the ladies out on the
That's
the club,
right.
so
It's very Girls Gone Wild.
Yep.
It's very straight to DVD, order from the back of Picture magazine. As a straight white dude, Katy Perry isn't banging. I have no skin in this game. But if I was a lesbian, I would definitely want to whip a box of chapsticks at her head.
Yep.
Oh, and for what it's worth, the same Trump-voting Christian doofuses who were totally fine with this song in 2022 would still completely lose their shit if, say, Blake Shelton released a country song next month with the chorus, I kissed your dad and he liked it.
Oh, Blake Shelton, he's married to Gwen Stefani, isn't he?
He sure is, mystifyingly.
Haven't you heard his new single?
No? What's it called?
I think the lyrics are, one thing I never thought would come between us was your dad's penis. I dream about it all day. Don't mean I'm gay, just a bit in love with your dad's dick. So he's singing that one.
Wow.
So
I think Little Nas X appears on that.
I think so. I think it's sort of it's like a Katy Perry sort of fun sort of
Yes,
just
playful. He's trying to move genres.
Yeah,
reinvent
right.
himself as the gayest cowboy on the range.
Very, very, very playful. So you're not having sex with Katy Perry, obviously, but Orlando Bloom is. They're married. I
Oh,
believe.
they are. I knew they
So-
were. I thought they might have broken up after people saw footage of him paddleboarding with his dick out for some reason. The way you do.
Orlando Bloom's one of the weirdest dudes going, I think. I do respect the fact that he's been able to just dine out on Pirates of the Caribbean for 2 decades at this stage, and that other fucking thing.
He's a real charisma vacuum, isn't he? He just sucks it in.
I remember reading about, and I think my wife informed me about this, that one day Orlando Bloom was watching television and Miranda Kerr was on there, being a supermodel as she is, and he just said, "That's the girl for me," and asked his agent to hook up a date with Miranda Kerr.
It's a real love story.
It is a real love story. Just picked her out off it, like home shopping on TV. Just
It's
went,
like
I like a bit of that.
Tom Cruise.
And they ended up getting married and having kids. So Miranda was obviously, feeling the Orlando
But
action.
that was pre-Katy Perry.
Yeah. So So he's gone from Orlando Bloom has moved from supermodel Miranda Kerr to Katy Perry, and Katy Perry has moved from British comedian Russell Brand.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
If you can remember
how could I forget?
that highly fucking unlikely relationship that seems like that was calculated by their PR managers as well somehow. Anyway,
Look, sometimes two young people fall heavily, violently in lust with each other for 18 months, no less, no more, and then they both have creative differences. And
that was also around the time that he was making a big push into being famous in America. So it seemed like he needed a big name American love interest to sort of get him through. So anyway, Katy Perry's got 45 million listeners on Spotify every month, and this will cost you, Tom, wait for this, $2.23.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah,
Jesus.
You're going to need more than just a solitary gold coin to acquire this.
Maybe because it was primarily downloaded by 14-year-olds.
Oh, no doubt. Exactly. Look, so anything more to say about that?
No, can we get on with some real music?
We can, fortunately, right now. Moving right on to All Summer Long, Kid Rock.
Phew.
Fuck yeah.
3 weeks.
Yep, absolutely. What can you tell me about this song?
Look, Kid Rock's not an idiot
No.
and is happy to admit that this song was created by him twanging the chords to Leonard Skinner over Werewolves of London in the studio. He calls it a mashup, which is fair enough, but then goes on to claim that nobody had ever thought of mashing up 2 songs and then adding a new lyric, which is obviously total shite because we've done about 6 of them on this podcast alone, and those are just fucking number ones from those years.
Yeah, fuck. I mean, it would be a very bold claim of Kid Rock to say that this is an original song because it is literally just
he's not
the
claiming
music.
it's an original
No,
song, but he is claiming it's an original idea, which is equally
just 2 songs, the guitar bits from 2 songs, and him doing new lyrics over them. But yeah, good, smart move from Kid Rock though, because he's expanded his base to include 60 pluses. I think with this song, there's a lot of old people like, I remember that fucking shit.
Yeah,
so there you go.
yes.
But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's technically you could call this rap, but it's the kind of shit that would get played on stations that were still regularly playing both of those original songs, e.g.
Oh,
AOR,
absolutely.
Dad Rock stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Look,
so yeah, as you say, if you did that on purpose, well
He's-
done
he's
from a
getting
bank
you,
account
yeah.
perspective, sure.
by this stage, it's very, very hard to imagine that Kid Rock was once a contemporary of Vanilla Ice. Like
It's pretty weird, isn't it? You know,
because he dropped Vanilla Ice, 1991, I think, and Kid Rock actually dropped his first album in 1990, and at that time he was just doing very much like a straight up sort of Beastie Boys-ish light type hip hop, you know, just a lot of samples, him just doing white boy rap over the top. So those two were sort of like, I think they even clashed a bit back in the early days. So
like you say, I mean, points for persistence though,
Yeah.
because it was a decade before anyone outside of wherever he's from had heard of him.
yeah,
I think Cowboy was his first big hit, and that was, you know, 2000 or something. It was a long way from 1990.
yeah. Look, being a white rapper in 1990, after the whole Vanilla Ice, you know, meteoric rise and even more meteoric fall,
Yeah.
very impressive for him, to still be able to get a career out of that by sort of sticking with the same sort of stuff for a bit, and then he sort of mixed it up to try and do that sort of terrible
Who
rap
knows?
rock that he
Wonder
ended
if
up going with. So
Maybe he did the redneck party circuit for a decade or something.
I'm not
Fucking
quite
hell.
sure. And look, I know rap metal has a bad image, and a lot of people look at Limp Bizkit as being the very worst that music had to offer in the late sort of 90s. But that Kid Rock song where it goes, bow diddy bang da bang da bang
Christ,
bitty
yeah.
bitty, that has to be one of the worst songs of the
Pretty
fucking
fucking
decade.
bad.
So, because after I listened to this on YouTube, the next suggested video was, I think, that one. So I haven't heard this for about 20 years. Listened to it and went, oh fuck, this is appallingly shit. But so he's sort of gone in all directions. He's done like a Vanilla Ice rap. He's done like fake southern rock, because he's
Yeah.
not, you were going to talk about this in a minute, then he's done sort of that with some rap metal, and then he's doing this sort of bullshit like 70s twangy
yeah,
shit, and then a bit
retro.
of country. So he literally, and then I think into that this year, was it earlier this year, he released that song about I'm not wearing a mask or something.
Yeah, the one
So-
where he's flying a giant middle finger that looks exactly like he's gripping a giant
Yep.
cock.
But the thing is, Tom, that through all of those different, disparate genres that he's done, he has kept one thing rather consistent, and that is that they're all universally terrible. So, which is amazing to operate in so many genres of music, yet be just dog shit across all of them.
Yeah, he's a real shtick dude. He's
Yeah.
got shtick and not much else. This is from the album Rock and Roll Jesus,
Good.
which features an all-black cover, a concept every bit as original as this song, e.g. a tribute to Spinal Tap that would be kind of funny if it hadn't already been done by Metallica, Jay-Z and AC/DC, just to name 3.
Yeah.
Because Kid Rock, or Robert James Ritchie, as his parents called him, nicked the entire song, this is credited to Waddy Waxhell, Ed King, Uncle Cracker, Leroy Marinell, Gary Rossington, Johnny Van Zant, Warren Zevon, and Kid Rock. Good to see Uncle Cracker back on the charts, though. We can agree there. I was starting to worry that Uncle Cracker might have disappeared. I thought he might have been cancelled after he sexually assaulted that woman, if you remember from earlier, during his one hit that we discussed.
Yeah, look, I'd hate to see Uncle Cracker deprived of an income,
Yes.
It's nice that he's able to thrive after a minor sexual assault conviction. So.
Yeah, and no one knowing who he was except in the
exactly.
Kid Rock's DJ sense. It turned out that he was cancelled, but only in the usual white guy sense, e.g. not in any way that actually affected his livelihood, bank account or legal status. I think
Great.
maybe some strangers would mean about him on Twitter for a week or something like that. Yeah, did you have anything else to say about this masterpiece of sticking two songs together and talking over the top? Sort of?
Look, what I can tell you is that it does suck, but the video, Kid Rock looks sick cruising around shirtless in a speedboat, which is fucking cool. And he's got that massive eagle tattoo on his back with the phrase "American Badass" on there, which is so sick. Really hope that the 2028 presidential race is Kid Rock versus The Rock.
I read it. Have you? Did you know that Kid Rock has a theme restaurant in Nashville? Because
Does he?
Of course he does. In fact, it's quite a thing. Like pretty much every alt country artist and every old I need retirement money country artist has their own theme restaurant.
Yeah.
His is called, I think it's Kid Rock's Texas Barbecue and Big Ass Rock and Roll Steakhouse, Honky Tonk and Big Ass. The name is literally like 20 words long. The sign is like this vertical thing.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and they did it. There was a review of these people who went there. It just sounded like absolute fucking shit.
Great.
Like, it's just... Yeah, it's like an all-ages venue, but they had this giant neon sign for this band who were called, like, Pussy Deluxe or something. It was just 100% idiocracy, like...
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway.
I'll try and get there next time I'm in the US.
Oh,
I
I'd
guess,
have a look if I was there, sure.
Yep, for sure.
Lyrics, look, don't worry, because Kid Rock is not some hack.
No.
He wouldn't just lazily slap together some FM radio standbys from people far more talented than him. He's got some art to bring to the party. Specifically, lyrics are like, and we were trying different things, we were smoking funny things, that's good rhyme work there, kid, making love out by the lake to our favourite song, sipping whiskey out the bottle, not thinking about tomorrow, singing Sweet Home Alabama all summer long. Now, earlier in the song, he says that it's 1989 in northern Michigan, where he grew up on a large property with his wealthy family in their enormous house, not anywhere near Detroit. The song Sweet Home Alabama came out in 1974, 15 years earlier. Also, Alabama is about 700 miles away. Northern Michigan is almost in Canada. So, were they singing Sweet Home Alabama all summer long? Like fuck they were. Also, Kid Rock never made love till he was 27. Nobody's fault. He was an acne-covered wannabe white rapper who looked like Kid Rock except with a flat top. I mean, look at this fucking picture of him.
Yeah, I know.
It looks like I've photoshopped and extended the top of his head by about 6 inches. And that's before the hair starts. By trying different things, he clearly means unsuccessfully attempting to be the next Vanilla Ice and masturbating with simian intensity while crying. Like the song itself, his entire backstory and identity is a conceit designed to appeal to dumbasses assembled inside an Atari Jaguar which accidentally achieved sentience after he spilled a can of Monster Energy drink on it, Electric Dream style.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the only explanation I can think of.
He does sort of paint an image that I grew up in a trailer park in Florida.
I'm white trash.
I'm from the deep south.
Had a pet gator.
But he's from as far north as you can get.
Yeah, grew up on a big rich house, suburban fucking nowhere.
Yep.
Wanted to be a white rapper.
But he does have that American Badass back tat, which is fucking cool. Boldity bangdy bangdy bang bitty bitty.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still, to this day, unsure about what his badassedness is supposed to entail.
Well, he tells it how it is, I think.
He drinks whiskey. Jesus Christ. It's like every person in Tasmania is a badass, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. Look, anyway, Kid Rock, he's got 5 million on Spotify. Not as many as I would have thought.
Not as many as I would have thought. Still more than I would have liked.
I think his fan base, to me, Tom, I believe, probably don't stream music.
No,
probably
I think many
they
of them
have the
still rocking
CDs.
a double cassette deck with one side broken, so you can't record songs anymore.
So it's really, we can see the streaming data, we can check that out on the internet, but in terms of how many spins off a CD, unfortunately that's information we don't know, and I think you're right that Kid Rock's core audience is probably spinning the discs.
Let's put it this way. In the past 4 years, only 3 musical artists had the privilege of meeting the most powerful man in the world, copyright America, which is, of course, Donald Trump.
Yep.
And they were one Kanye West, one Dr. Professor Kid Rock, and, of course, 3 Doors Down at the inauguration, where they were the most famous band to appear. Yes, so I mean, he's come a long way.
Definitely.
You know.
So this song's been streamed 340 million times on Spotify, and you can buy this for 67 cents. So there you go.
Yes.
Look,
Who's up next?
well, big name, Lady Gaga featuring Colby O'Donis, Just Dance.
Yes, only 1 week, but it was a big hit. I remember this.
Yep.
Look, we all know Lady Gaga, but what's the Colby O'Donis story?
Well, what isn't the Colby O'Donis story, I think, Tom, is the better question. His parents first realised his singing talent when he took place, he went to a talent show and he did a Michael Jackson song when he was 3.5 years old. Mm-hmm. So little, yeah, exactly. Did that, 3.5, the family member. This kid has got talent. Little did they know that just 7 short years later, when he turned 10, he'd be recording the song Mouse in the House for the 1999 film Stuart Little. So just a few years between...
A few short years.
He's doing the Stuart Little soundtrack, and from there, strength to strength, although you might say there's a few years between 1999 and 2008. What was he doing in that time? Well, he teamed up with Acorn, which is what every good person should do.
Almighty.
Apparently, O'Donis's first single, What You Got, in 2008, so just before this, he released with Acorn, doing a bit of work on there. Mm-hmm. His star power at the time, so this is Colby's, off the back of his Acorn sort of album. So I think Acorn discovered him. You know how sometimes people are like, oh, I discovered that guy, but they'd already signed a record deal and they'd already been discovered, but then you come in at the 11th hour and it's like, oh, this guy's really great. Can he also be signed to my record label? Let's make it a joint deal and I'll do it, go on his first single. Yeah. So Acorn effectively did that. Then off the back of What You Got, he was popular enough in 2008, some fucking how, I don't even know how, to get on this song from Lady Gaga.
Yes,
so,
although we should say this is only her second hit. I think it's only her second single.
I think it might be her first single, yeah.
No, we had... did we not?
I haven't heard anything yet. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, sorry. I'm getting distracted.
Yeah. So I think this is her first single and big hit. So no one knew who she was.
Clumped together. Yes, sorry. No, there's another one coming up.
So no one knew who Lady Gaga was at the time.
Or Colby O'Donis.
But Colby O'Donis, usually you get the, when it's sort of like, here's a new artist, let's get,
yes,
Dr. Dre on this, or let's get
someone you've actually heard.
Or like when Rihanna, they said, well, Rihanna, she's up and coming still with Umbrella, let's get, our old friend... who was on that? Fucking Jay-Z on that guy. So instead they've said Colby O'Donis is the draw card here. So
I'm thinking maybe Lady Gaga and Colby O'Donis were both outside chances at this point.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So look, Colby, since this song, he released that album in 2008. He's done a couple of singles over the past 15 years. But he has teamed up with some of the biggest names in the industry. Mm-hmm. As I said, Acorn, obviously, teamed up with him. Teamed up with Lady Gaga. And he also teamed up with Brooke Hogan. And I don't know whether you know this, Tom, but the theme song from Brooke Knows Best is probably the best TV theme song of all time. If you don't know that, check it out on YouTube. It's fantastic. If you don't know, do you know Brooke Knows Best? Are you familiar with that show?
I remember it from the throw things at the wall period of reality TV.
So Brooke Hogan, she's pursuing a music career out in California or something. Yes. So she's moved out of home. She's moved in with a friend, 2 friends, I believe, and Hulk Hogan just sort of sneaks in from time to time and peers through the window with binoculars to make sure that nothing's going crazy. And you may remember this is at the time when Hulk Hogan had just split up with his wife because he banged one of Brooke Hogan's friends. Good times. But the theme song to Brooke Knows Best is just her going, I can do anything, it's my life. It's fucking fantastic. So yeah. Anyway, tell me about the debut single from Lady Gaga.
Well, just a side note, I can't believe that we're not even at the end of the year, and this is the second person we've featured with the first name Colby, which is clearly a fake name. And I'm thinking this
Colby
is some
O'Donis
sort of
sounds
promotion that
it sounds as fake as it gets.
Colby. What the fuck's going on in America? All right. Anyway, as you say, this was Lady Gaga's debut single, and it sounds pretty simplistic. If it sounds pretty simplistic, I should say, that's because it belongs in the Taxi Club. She claims that she wrote it in 10 minutes while super hungover with producer Red One, and it's about being drunk at the club, as that would suggest. Over time, retelling that story, however, it seems to have snowballed into a self-mythologizing event, with the song becoming an 8 Mile style lose yourself one chance shot at creating a monster hit after she left her partner and her life behind and moved to the other side of the country. That saved her from depression, and also now the song is an anthem for the homeless and jobless struggling with the global financial crisis, etc. It's a lot like that time I got an offer to join Bewitched band. Quit my job, moved to Ireland and began gender reassignment surgery before realising that it was just an incorrectly addressed email.
Yeah, damn.
On the plus side, I now have an Irish visa and a cracking pair of jugs. Yes, also...
And you can sing Roller Coaster now.
I can
at
sing
karaoke,
Roller Coaster.
which is
but
good.
yeah, unfortunately I keep getting confused with the Ronan Keating song Roller Coaster, because he lived down the street from me in Dublin and he kept trying to crack on me once.
Did Bewitched supply
you?
you with a denim outfit, because they only wear various types of denim?
They did, yes. I needed something to cover up my cracking pair of jugs.
Good.
Also, Akon is credited for reasons that I can't understand. Like you say, I mean, I get that he was involved with Colby O'Donis, but what he had to do with the actual song, I don't know. Perhaps the production was financed with Acorn as well.
I think that Akon also, quote, discovered Lady Gaga. He pulled another one of those after she'd already been discovered by 8 other people. Because I think Lady Gaga, by the time this song came out, I think there'd been several years of like, we found this talent and we're trying to figure out what to do with her. And I think she was sort of, in New York doing a bit more sort of alternative-y stuff.
Yeah, she was friends with Lana Del Rey. I know that before they got famous, they used to do,
And I think a lot of those artists, it is sort of like, I'm a bit more in sort of like whether it's a dance scene or punkish scene or alt scene, and then eventually it's just kind of like, you're just going to make way more money if you just do pop songs.
Yes.
So why don't you just do that? And that's what she's done. So,
Did you like the video for this?
I did, yeah.
I thought it was kind of fun seeing her look young and unpolished in sort of half-assed outfits, like compared to something like Telephone, which looks and sounds as though it was fussed over with a sort of Tarantino level of nerdishness. There's no product placement or choreography here, really. She's got like a blue lightning bolt glued to her cheek, which is clearly just a metallic sticker from a Gary Glitter show bag, which is probably the same one that her wig came from.
Oh, look, absolutely.
It's got this $2 shop blonde square cut bangs wig on her head. Yeah,
the video looks super cheap, but it is super fun. Look, this is for me. This is easily the best song of her career.
It just looks like a big drunken party mess kind of thing, which suits the song.
This is pretty simple, very synth pop, something around 2008. It sounds crazy now, but I don't think a lot of people were doing this style of music.
No, like I said, it's not dissimilar to that Rihanna song with that sort of nightclub effect that was popular.
Exactly.
Slightly
They're rocking
robotic vibes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Look, if this song comes on, I'm going to listen to it. I'm down with that. It's catchy, fun. Video's the same. And I'm going to say this now. This is my hot take, but Lady Gaga is one of the biggest pop stars. I don't mean like physically. I mean like hottest pop stars, biggest pop stars around. You know what I mean? She's one of the biggest pop stars.
Sure.
Still in 2022. But for someone that's one of the biggest artists in the world, she's actually released a lot of fucking garbage. So after this song, which I think is a great song, I'd listen to this, but she's done, I'm going to say at this point, 15 years of almost entire trash. So the fact that she's been able to maintain such a high level of pop stardom with garbage really surprises me. It's either straight away, there's a song called Love Game, also on the debut album, which features the lyrics, "Let's have some fun, this beat is sick, I want to take a ride on a disco stick," which means a cock. Terrible, terrible lyrics. That song's terrible. Then she does Born This Way, which I know was a big hit for hers, which 100% rips off Madonna's Express Yourself.
Yes.
If you listen to that song, it's exactly the same fucking song.
She's done it again, too. There's a song of hers called Alejandro, which is a complete fucking rip-off of La Isla Bonita.
Yeah.
And the video is also a fucking rip-off of Madonna's whole fucking Like a Prayer.
So her biggest songs are not this one, but everything subsequent is like a shitty rip-off of something terrible. She does a song with R. Kelly, whoops. That horse shit with Bradley Cooper from A Star Is Born. And if you look at her discography on Wikipedia, there's about 25 other singles that either no one can remember because either A, they never heard them in the first place, or because they're just terrible. And recently, and by recently I say within this week, Tom, she's dropped a fucking garbage ballad for Top Gun 2.
Oh, yeah, that's right. God, that's what the world needed.
Where's Kenny Loggins when you need him? I don't know why they've done that. So
I mean, hey, I suppose at least with their retro song, they're trying to have an actual retro movie hit song. You know what I mean? Like a retro,
exactly.
Like, as we were talking about at the top of the thing, but yeah.
So look, I like this song, but hot take, it's all downhill from here from Lady Gaga. There you go.
Yeah, she never did it for me. I could sort of see the appeal of her vibe, like, you know.
She's wearing a dress made out of fucking steak.
But I think she appealed to a new generation of people who were too young for Madonna and had missed out on Madonna earlier, and to whom Madonna probably now seemed like a weird old lady wearing a leotard for some reason, for the same reason that Madonna appealed to people when we were back then. Because,
of course.
But if you're old enough, and this makes you sound like such a parent, but if you're old enough, you can see that half of her stuff that looks original is just borrowed, and it looks original because the people young enough to like it were not around for the first
Madonna's
time.
got a lot of tracks. Like,
yes,
there's
and
a
Madonna
lot of
did a lot
fucking
of bollocks
great
as
songs.
well.
A lot of shit, but a lot of good songs.
Yeah,
Britney, same.
Yeah,
but for me, Lady Gaga, pretty light on the good songs. So
yeah, I've got to admit, I really only know the hits. I've never listened to a full Lady Gaga album.
Oh no, nor have I.
I'm not.
Why would you?
fan.
No.
Look,
if the singles are that bad, you wouldn't bother checking out the deep cuts, would you? Makes no sense.
Well, at least this stuff you can dance to.
Oh,
I'll say
for
that.
sure.
Lyrically, what's going on the floor? I love this record, baby, but I can't see straight no more. Keep it cool. What's the name of this club? I can't remember, but it's all right. Just dance. Gonna be okay. Da 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 do. Just dance.
Yep.
Now, on the plus side, it's good to hear a song feature some useful real-world advice for once, Ben, especially after the last two pod person anthems that we just listened to. On the minus side, if you're too pissed too early in public, then dance it off is a real kill or cure method, I think. Obviously, it works for me because I'm the dance commander and my moves drop underpants like Israel drops cluster bombs. But for less hardcore units, it can lead to what Sophie Ellis-Bextor calls vomit on the dance floor.
Exactly right.
So you've got to watch out for that.
Yeah, it can go wrong real fast.
That
Exactly.
said, like, it is not bad advice. Like, if you're too off your face, get on the dance floor. Seems counterintuitive. Uh-oh, scary, lots of bright lights moving around. But it's not bad because your body will process the stuff.
You'll dance
better.
the alcohol away.
Yes,
Absolutely.
or you get more off your face, but you get into a kind of groove and it produces endorphins, you feel good, the bad feelings go away, you know. And if you spew, you'll probably just spew on the back of Jared. He's already had 78 bourbon and cokes, he's not going to notice.
Absolutely.
He'll just think he spewed backwards over his shoulder somehow.
So song kicks off. There's some synth bit at the start.
Yep.
Pretty cool. I like that. Lady Gaga comes in. Her vocals are great. Chorus comes in. Yep, Just Dance. I'm going to hit that dance floor. Sounds good. Everything's pretty good. Good song. Colby comes in, and then it's just bullshit.
Yeah,
He's
really
the worst part of this
doesn't
song.
help much.
Didn't need him at all. So
It's kind of an Akon effect, isn't
yeah,
it?
should have got the guy from Effervescence, I think, to sort of come in and wake me up. But yeah, one of those songs where it's just like, so the guest isn't even that famous,
No.
and the bit that he does is bullshit. So,
Yeah.
but that's his claim to fame, though. I mean, here we are, 15 years later, and he can still go to clubs and places and go, I've got a Billboard #1 single. Really? Yeah, you
I
know,
was
Just
on
Dance.
Lady
Didn't Lady
Gaga.
Gaga sing that? Yeah. I'm the guy that comes in 2/3 of the way through and drops some horse shit.
Were you in that Evanescence song as well? No, you're thinking of the real McCoy. Sorry, Rob.
Paul McCoy.
Paul McCoy.
Exactly. So look, and I think that the Spotify tells us the story. 39 million listeners for Lady Gaga, doesn't surprise me. 500,000 for Colby O'Donis.
Wow.
And all of those, I would suggest, are just people listening to this song, probably.
Yes, I mean 500,000. That's the same amount that Gabriella Cilmi
Yeah, exactly
was,
right.
whose one hit was when she was 17
Yeah.
and was only famous in Australia and certain parts of the UK.
Yeah, this has been streamed 544 million times.
Surprised it's not
Doesn't
more, to be
surprise me.
honest.
Yeah, I thought it'd be more than that. This will cost you... Wait, just hold on, Tom. $4.45.
Wow.
So that's a lot.
That is a lot.
I'm starting to
I
think...
don't know what's going on with
I'm
these.
starting to think that this is the time where they're really fading out the production of the CD
Physical
single.
media.
Yes. So,
Yes.
people are digitally downloading this song,
Yep.
probably. They're selling a few CD singles, but
If
there
you
you
want
go.
the digipack, you've got almost no chance.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly. Anything else to say about this one?
No.
Sure, there'll be more Gaga coming up. Up next, Pink with So What?
For 4 whole weeks. Oh, God. Full disclosure, I fucking hate this song.
Yep.
This was the point at which any residual affection I may have felt towards Pink for being not Katy Perry definitely evaporated. Coincidentally or not, this was Pink's first US number one, believe it or not, despite all the other Aussie number ones we've heard of. Clearly we liked her more in Australia than they did in the UK, but she got to the top eventually.
Which is amazing, because this is fucking terrible. Look,
Yes.
it's safe to say that, Tom, you or I, we're not in the target demographic of Pink, which
No.
must be, particularly this song, 40-plus divorced women into theatre restaurants, musicals based on films like Legally Blonde and Holidays on the Gold Coast.
I thought it was more 12-year-olds who wanted a hardcore alternative to Avril Lavigne. So they crossed Avril Lavigne out off them their pencil cases and wrote Pink in instead.
Look, I think next time Pink comes to Australia to perform 12 shows at Rod Laver Arena, as she tends to do, I'm going to enter every fucking competition available so that I can get to... I would not part with money to do it, but I want to go so I can just have a look around and go, what is the target demographic of Pink? Is it 12-year-old
Yeah,
girls?
I'm a
I've
bit
got a feeling
mystified.
everyone there is going to be over the age of 50. I don't think there's going to be anyone under the age of 50 there.
I want to have more respect for Generation X than that.
Is it okay to take headphones and listen to your own music and just watch the stage show? Is that okay at a Pink show if I just did that? People say, what was the best bit? It's just
you
like,
see,
well...
you're taking
Motley
the piss out
Crue.
of this now, but what I'm thinking is that you've got a 3-year-old daughter, Ben,
Yeah.
which means that in about 10 years, she's going to be listening to whatever the Pink equivalent is then, which is probably going to be a new type of, I'm guessing, Taiwanese electro-pop where the bands have 74 individual members who appear to be identical because they were cloned in some sort of Cold War era underground
Like
basement
AKB
laboratory.
48 or something like that.
Yes, and you're going to be dragged to these concerts because you can't let your daughter go alone.
Yeah.
So you're going to be up the back in the dad enclosure where they inject all the dads with morphine so that they
Yeah.
can get through a whole concert. The plus side is that by that point, kids' attention spans will be so short that a full concert will only be 32 minutes long.
That's
so
true, yeah.
It's really only the episode of one sitcom and you'll be,
Oh, look, I think if I play enough Morbid Angel to Orla between now and the time she's 13, maybe she'll skip the whole pop thing and just we can go and watch some...
There's always hope.
Go to the corner and watch some intense Hammer Rage
One
reunion
thing's
show.
for sure, no 13-year-old in 10 years is going to be listening to Pink because that's
Oh, I wouldn't have thought so. So, what's the story with the actual song itself? Because this is what I find bizarre, the most bizarre bit.
Yeah,
So,
it just seemed like she was making less and less effort as time went on.
Yep.
And one of those things, it's hard to blame her because every time, the less effort she made, the more popular it seemed to be.
Yeah, definitely.
As I said, this was their first number one. So this was written, So What was written during a separation between Pink and her husband, motocross racer Carey Hart.
Yep.
Not Corey Hart, who wrote Sunglasses at Night, the eponymous podcast we were on. It's an eponymous song, I should say. So what, you may ask? Well, Hart features in the video for this song because by the time Pink's Funhouse album was coming out, Pink and Carey were back together again and have been since. He also appears in several more videos, as do her children. I guess that's a nice coda to the story of a song written about a breakup from 14 years ago. But sadly, the rest of us are left with a song that only features one note and makes me want to go out and buy a ride-on lawnmower just so I can throw myself under it.
Possibly the ride-on lawnmower Pink is riding in the music video, no less. But
yes.
look, so as you said, Tom, yeah, they're back together. But not only were they weren't separated for years and got back together.
No.
They had a separation. She wrote this song, yet by the time the album was released and the video was made, they're already back together. So this must be a sore point in Pink's catalogue for Carey. One would imagine, all the songs in her catalogue are a sore point in the sense that he probably has to listen to them at some stage and they're all terrible. But maybe Pink doesn't play her own music at home, so the best place to be to avoid having to hear Pink is to be as close to the source as possible.
You think he's playing the long game?
He is, I think. He's got married to Pink solely so he doesn't have to listen to Pink's music, which is a very, very smart move.
Clever. Also, can't help but notice, he's taken up an occupation that involves wearing ear protection and riding a very loud motorbike for long periods of time, deaf, and also is incapable of listening to his wife's music at work.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
much like me at the Pink concert.
Did you hear my new song? Oh, sorry, I was riding a dirt bike all day wearing ear protection and a helmet. And then, and then when I got home, into the soundproof underground man cave I built underneath our house.
For sure. Look, if he's forced to go to Pink concerts, he'd just do what I do, put the headphones in and listen to some Kid Rock. So, but look, it's good to know that even though they were back together almost immediately, that Pink didn't cut the song from the album. She's like, look, I've done the work, I've written this song, I've recorded it, I'm going to monetize this.
Yeah.
Hey, it might be a sore point given the fact that I'm singing a song about how much I fucking hate my husband, who I'm back together with now. But don't worry about it. Got to make the cash. But look, I guess it was a number one hit, so everyone wins. Except for everyone.
Question about this song can be answered with the title of the song itself. Like, does any of that matter? What did the record label think of it?
This is a hit.
So what?
It's got one of those wacky videos as well that I fucking hate. It's sort of wacky on the level of what's the most contrived wackiness you can come up with. So, she's chainsawing down a tree that has a love heart on it.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, lyrics. Who wrote this?
Look, this is credited to Pink and Swedish pop writing royalty Max Martin.
Oh, fucking Max Martin.
Guy, he's back again. And another Swede called Shellback. Given that Shellback also wrote If You Seek Amy for Britney Spears, Moves Like Jagger, and more than one Ed Sheeran song, I'm going to call this a Timberland/Danger situation and say that Max put Shellback in charge while he took the Skoda to the supermarket for some fermented narwhal and a bag of ABBA CDs, and then just took the credit when he got back, little knowing what he'd inflicted on people. Lyrically, the song starts the way it means to go on, with a no-nonsense declaration of feminist self-empowerment. Na 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 na.
Yeah.
So and then it's pretty much downhill from there.
And weirdly, Tom, the na 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 part is somehow not the worst part.
No,
of the song.
That's what I mean by verse 2. You're going, Jesus, can you bring back the fucking na na na?
Yeah, but finding a worse part in this song is like trying to find worst part of a stint in Guantanamo Bay, I guess.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know. Pink she's consistent. Just churning out fucking trash.
Well, like I said, I mean, when people keep getting massively rewarded for doing increasingly shit songs, it is difficult to blame them on an objective level for not trying a bit harder.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, well, what motivation have you given them?
Why would you try and do some sort of like epic single that involves,
or putting
something
actual
a bit long,
emotion or some thematic depth into something when I'm doing So What and I'm banging one key on the piano while the piano tune is here, and then I go, sounds like that. Good for a song.
Fuck. 27 million for Pink. 406 million people have listened to this on Spotify. You can buy this for 74 cents.
I think I'll keep the 74 cents.
Absolutely. All right, up next, Tom. Kings of Leon, Sex on Fire.
Now, this was a huge hit.
Yep.
This was a crossover between the alternative audience and the mainstream.
Yep.
As were Kings of Leon in that weird sort of... what were those fucking guys called? Those folk twats. They were around a little while ago. Oh, God. It's just occasionally, every 5 years, a band comes along that does something unusual, but they manage to be a kind of...
There's a fiddle in it.
Yeah, and then somehow they're on, mainstream radio and alternative charts somehow. Who am I? Oh, fuck, that's going to drive me nuts. They're so irritating that I've forgotten them. But yeah.
That's all right.
Kings of Leon were one of those bands. Now, where do Kings of Leon come on your favourite relatives in bands
Yeah.
countdown, Ben? They're all brothers, in case you don't know. Like I think it's 4 of them. They're all
Well,
brothers.
there's 3 brothers and 1 cousin,
Oh, okay.
I think.
Okay.
But yeah,
So,
they're all
they
in the
are
family.
In the family, yep. Which seems out from the deep south. They may be, each other's uncles as well, for all I
Yep.
know, but possibly wives. Do they get points because there's 4 of them?
Yeah, look,
that's quite a lot of relatives for one band outside the Catholic variety hoedown circuit.
Correct. Look, to answer your question, Tom, I think they fall right in the sweet spot between Spandau Ballet and Right Said Fred.
Yes. I was going to say I'd put them above Killing Heidi, but below LMFAO.
Okay.
Did you know that LMFAO is a dude and his uncle?
I did know
How
that.
weird is that?
I did know that.
My favourite part about that is, for anyone at home, if you're bored one
There's
day
no
on the bus,
favourite part of
just imagine being in an electro fucking party jam band with any of your uncles
Yeah.
or aunties. Just pick one
Yeah.
and imagine like touring at college audiences, getting pissed 18-year-olds to jump up on the speaker stacks and do shots with your uncle.
Look,
That's just...
it is crazy.
But each uncle of mine presents a new and fascinating way
Yeah.
that would go, but yeah.
I'd rather hang out with the uncle than Red Foo, though. I think, is that a fair assessment?
That's pretty.
yeah,
I'd
good.
rather hang out with Pink than Red Foo, I think.
It's
But,
very true.
hey, look, the band themselves had this to say about the song.
Yep.
There's always been an element of sex in our music. Depends how hot you find enormous beards and flannelette shirts, but go on.
Yep.
So I thought I'd just wrap it all up in one song and be done with the sex for the rest of the record.
Good idea, yeah.
I can't believe the label picked it because the lyrics are pretty in-your-face sexual. I think my girlfriend hopes it's based on her. Maybe it is my girlfriend because we've had some good times together, but I'm not really sure. It's about a great sexual relationship with hot, hot sex that you remember forever. That was Caleb who said that to the Sun. And from a different angle, they were just kind of dummy lyrics, depending on whether a song starts with a melody or starts with lyrics. You know, if it starts with a melody, you just keep playing the melody over and over until you get it down and just throw in any lyrics that fit the verbal flow. Sex on Fire was just kind of a little lyric just to fill in, kill some time until he could actually write something that wasn't about sex and fire. That was Nathan on Triple J.
Thanks, Nathan.
Yeah, now, Ben, this is the downside of having your brother in the band. You try to sound all studly and shit, and then 2 weeks later your brother goes on Triple J and points out that the lyrics are dumb as hell and you forgot to write something better later on.
Absolutely.
As a brother having myself, I assure you that 3 minutes after that, Nathan told a story about the time Caleb shat himself in the charcoal chicken takeaway queue when he was 19.
Absolutely, yeah. I do enjoy how pretentious the first response is, and then the second one's
They just
like,
sound exactly like brothers.
just like,
I quite
oh,
like
fuck,
it.
mate, we just didn't know what the fuck was going on. So, good to hear a guitar in a song, I guess.
Yeah, first one this year makes
Yeah.
no change.
Look, actually, I don't hate this song, but I think it's probably because of how popular I remember Kings of Leon getting at this specific time.
Yeah, I heard it too much.
Yeah, I heard it too much, and I definitely get a fuckwits at music festival shout singing this at the top of their lungs sort of vibe. So, and I guess that's sort of just what I sort of remember about this at the time.
Yeah,
it was just like,
I know what you mean.
because I was never a big Kings of Leon fan, but I did have some friends that liked their other older stuff, and they were sort of like, because I'd never ever heard of them before, and they were like, oh yeah, this is sort of a bit of a different direction, and now there's a lot of weirdos that are like, oh,
your sex is on fire.
but
That's the
whatever.
problem
I
with
mean,
sudden success.
yeah,
isn't it?
that's the thing. So I do remember sort of people going, oh, this is weird, and then they sort of got quite big, and then I guess they just sort of gone back to doing what they were doing before. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't heard the band name talked about for fucking a long time. Like, I don't know.
No, they
I'm sure
were huge for a couple of albums, and then they just seemed to kind of
go back to probably just doing what they were doing before. Probably still having a successful career, just without being. I think because this was like a Hottest 100 #1 song as well, wasn't it?
Yes, that's what I meant. They were
crossover.
huge on Triple J. That's why I heard this so fucking much. Because it was played everywhere. There was no escaping it, you know.
So
You go to a fucking heavy metal show and then the DJ warming up would fucking play Sex is on Fire, for fuck's sake.
So those lyrics, the dummy lyrics that, Tom, I don't know who to believe. They're either dummy lyrics or they're very thought out
Yes.
lyrics about having hot sex you remember forever. What are those? What are those lyrics? Can you tell me about them?
Well, funnily enough, for what he says there, like, about how edgy and dangerous they were, considering he was surprised the record company would even play them, there's really only one verse that even sounds particularly rude, apart from the word sex. The dark of the alley, the breaking of day, head while I'm driving, soft lips are open, them knuckles are pale, feels like you're dying. Unless he's talking about a dead body that he found on the side of the road, this is pretty tame compared to the average Motley Crue B-side, not to mention anything by hardcore gangster sex rappers like Kid Rock or Belle Biv DeVoe. Even Nickelback go harder than this, and according to Wikipedia, they're all virgins. I may have added that, but, I think we can read between the lines. Look, I just, even the chorus, whoa, 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 this sex is on fire, like, I think that's one of the reasons that it stuck in my head all those years is because it's that slightly weird grammar that doesn't sound, it's just a weird thing to say.
Sex
like,
on fire,
imagine saying that to your girlfriend halfway through.
Your sex is on fire.
Whoa, 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 this is on fire.
Like, yeah.
She'd be like, are you right? It's like, no, I've had a bit of a stroke, I think.
Look, I don't know. These lyrics don't seem that controversial to me. I mean, it's hardly Tears from My Pussy by Christine, for example.
No,
But,
it's not even Lick My Neck, Lick My Back by, who was that?
My pussy and my crack.
And that came out in about 97.
Yeah, exactly. Look, so the lyrics for me, though, Tom, there's the whole part of, obviously, soft lips are open, head while I'm driving, then it then obviously goes into talk about feels like you're dying. Now, does this imply that the blowjobber may have been choked by the dick, choking on a dick?
Yeah, or does it mean like...
She's dead, so I don't know.
He feels like he's dying when he gets a blowjob, or feels like we're dying because I drove.
Feels like you're dying. So I
got
think
distracted while I'm driving and I hit a truck.
I think this is the only number one song about someone choking on a dick. It sounds very much like it. If you're the vocalist of Kings of Leon,
I'm pretty sure Two Live Crew have written a song.
Oh
on
no,
that track.
But look, if the vocalist of Kings of Leon,
I think
in
it was
the
on
future,
the Fuck Shop album.
Fuck Shop.
Sorry.
Look, if the vocalist from Kings of Leon is, heaven forbid, in the future, found in a hotel room with a dead female companion who appears to have been choked to death, he may indeed run with the defence that she choked on a dick, and point to this song as evidence that sometimes chicks just choke on my dick, as heard in that song, "Sex is on Fire." Now, the choke on a dick defence is, Tom, unfortunately, and hard to believe, an actual legal defence in some states, the United States of America.
Oh,
so I've read about someone that... I wish I was, Tom, but I remember reading about someone that was found choked to death, and the person that was accused of the murder ran with the defence that she choked on my dick, and he was acquitted of the crime. God. So I think that this song is written with the sole purpose of trying to get out of a future...
alibi, yes.
Establish an alibi in case someone chokes on his dick in the future. So there you go.
Alternatively, if any members of Kings of Leon found dead in an accident with a female companion in the car and she happens to have half of his dick in her mouth bitten off, start of American Gods style, then you'll know why, because he should have been paying attention instead of listening to shit music and getting blowjobs.
Exactly right. Look, anything else to say about this?
No.
Not really. 12 million for Kings of Leon, 899 million streams. They're almost hitting that billion. No one's hit the bill yet, but they're close. 899.
That song was massive.
Yeah, it was absolutely.
Huge. I didn't get the figures because I was too lazy, but yeah,
it was big. People liked it. $2.22 to buy. There you go. Fair enough.
Speaking of big, my genitals. Sorry, and this next song.
Last song of the year, Tom. Lady Gaga is back. Poker Face.
Poker Face. I hardly know her. Yes, 8 weeks. 6 weeks this year, 2 next.
8 weeks. So Just Dance is, for my mind, the better of the two songs. But this is still pretty fun.
Okay,
anyway.
I prefer this.
You like this one better?
But they're both very much the same vein. Both from that robot rock
Both very
type
similar.
era. Yes.
Yep.
Continues the briefly popular dance pop trend of deliberately sounding like a machine, as featured in Just Dance and I Kissed a Girl. Probably influenced by Daft Punk from 10 years ago, because Americans are a bit slow on the uptake when it comes to French disco. Also, it was co-written and produced by Red One again, which has probably got something to do with it.
Yep.
For the video, directed by Ray Kay and Anthony Mandler, she's back in the joke shop wig again, although it's starting to look more like her later stage persona, e.g. there's more impractical headwear and shoulder pads and stuff like that.
Yep.
It's not great, though, to be honest. There's really gross product placement all over the shop and no narrative at all. The opening shot is really cool. I'll give it that. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the edge of a swimming pool under like a thunderstorm outdoors.
Yep.
An outdoor pool, and there's two huge Great Danes on either side, and then she just climbs out of the pool in this strange black shiny outfit with like half a mirror ball glued to her head
Yep.
and stuff. It's kind of like, if you ignored her previous video, it's kind of like announcing yourself, like,
Absolutely.
this is how I'm going to look and this is what I'm going to be like, you know, if you just conveniently ignore Just Dance, which is just about a pissed girl at a nightclub with a bad wig on.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to be wearing an outfit constructed out of a barbecue pack in just a few months.
Yeah,
So.
shitty fucking gambling related. There's multiple. It looks like they borrowed for this video. They borrowed some rich guy's fucking island or something.
Yeah.
They had to feature his online poker
That's
company
what I
all
said,
over the
exactly.
fucking place. And I know it's called Poker Face, but the song is otherwise not about poker. Like,
No,
it's
no.
just, you know.
Yep.
And yeah, and then there's other shit. There's several other things in it too as well. It's just weird. That aside, I would have, if I was a record company, I would have released this as the first single, I reckon. But anyway.
Look, you're right. There's an online poker site table, I think, that
Yes.
she's playing cards on for a bit, which features heavily as a product placement, and also has the obligatory Beats headphone shot
Yes.
in
Yep.
this. In 20 years' time, people are going to look back and go, why in the living fuck were there Beats headphones in every music video for the space of about 5 years? So they just really went apeshit on that.
Why is
So
the lowercase letter B on everything?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
it's crazy.
There's also a half-assed Fergie-style rap bridge that
Yeah.
I'd forgotten about, and it isn't any better than when Fergie does it, to be honest. Yeah, I forgot she used to do that. At one point she says in the lyrics that if it's not rough, it ain't no fun.
Yeah.
Which is getting pretty close to Madonna sex book territory, I
Yep.
will say. Although Lady Gaga manages to draw the line there instead of then going on about fucking underage boys, how fat people are unworthy of love, and why
Yep.
anyone with a rich husband is a gold-digging slut.
Yep.
But, Gaga definitely seemed to want to be Madonna for a while.
Yep.
But now she seems happy with being Barbara Streisand instead, which is probably more dignified after 30, if we're being honest. You know, you don't want to be running around in a leotard and 9-inch lucite heels into middle age.
Yeah.
I'm over 40 and I can barely get out of bed, and I rarely wear stilettos, past 9 a.m.
Absolutely. Look, you're right, Tom. If it's rough, it isn't fun, isn't quite domestic abuse victims love it, but it's close
Yeah.
enough. So she did ape Madonna early on in her career, as we mentioned previously, ripped off Express Yourself wholesale for that song. But now she is going full Streisand, both with adult contemporary music, as evidenced by that Top Gun song, and also she's making a move into acting as well. So she did A Star Is Born, which was massive a few years ago, and obviously this year she's done The House of Gucci, where she claimed to be in character for a full 18 months' time, which just goes to show that she must have some sort of brain injury.
I believe in the next Super Mario Kart, she's doing both Mario and Luigi's voices as well.
Yeah. Imagine you went out to dinner with Lady Gaga, just meeting for a coffee or something, and she's like in character from the House of Gucci. Just be like, fuck this and go home. Hey, Lady Gaga, how you doing? She's like, "Arr." You're like, oh, I'm out of here.
Maybe that's why Eamon was singing "Fuck, I Don't Want You Back" at that pizza shop that time.
Oh, exactly.
But anyway, look, I'll give her credit for this. She may be derivative in some ways, but at least she's smart enough to copy less of the actual music and the actual look than the ideas behind
Yep.
the button pushing and so forth. So when she does copy things, it's more because you know what she's doing rather than the exact thing. Yeah, but anyway. She stated in an interview that Poker Face was written as a pop song and was a tribute to her rock and roll boyfriends, whoever they may be. When Rolling Stone
Brett
magazine...
Michaels, I think.
Sure. When Rolling Stone magazine asked about the meaning of the line "bluffin' with my muffin," which is one of those lyrics you were mentioning earlier,
In the rap part,
yes,
yeah.
Gaga explained that it really was a metaphor for her vulva, noting that it's my pussy's poker face. I was going to ask, what's your dick's poker face, Ben?
Yeah.
Is it unfair to circumcised men that they lose a potential way to play a better hand of Texas Hold'em using their penis and balls?
Yeah, in my rap, I said, hiding my emotion with my scrotum is how I do it when, like, Gaga doing bluffing with my muffin. And I do.
Yes. I think that's
Hide
one of those
emotion
things that
with my scrotum.
drag queens do as well.
I think so.
Did you have anything else to say about this one?
No, tell me about the lyrics. What do you got?
I won't tell you that I love you, kiss or hug you, because I'm bluffing with my muffin. I'm not lying, I'm just stunning with my love glue gunning. Now, do I need to know about love glue, Ben? Is this one of those things that millennials are into?
Oh, look, I wish I could tell you, Tom. I met up for coffee with Lady Gaga and asked her about love glue, but unfortunately she was in character for the House of Gucci and claimed to have no idea what the fuck I was talking about, so I just went, fuck this, and left. So,
well, don't ask her vagina, because apparently that's her poker face.
yeah,
so.
it won't. You will get, I don't want to, that's exactly, I don't want to reiterate this enough.
Get
You will
nothing
get
from her
nothing
muffin.
from Lady Gaga's vagina. You will get absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I thought perhaps Lady Gaga was dropping a hint there that she is in fact a hermaphrodite, as in the urban legend, which also is attached to Jamie Lee Curtis for some reason.
Really?
Have you heard that? It's one of those, she's secretly got a dick, is one of those Hollywood legends that just gets passed down generationally. You know, like
Jamie Lee Curtis
the one about the guy who gets taken to hospital and then they find a litre of semen up their bum. You know?
Or didn't Harrison Ford get a gerbil up his ass?
Well, yeah, and then it got passed down to Richard Gere. The semen in their stomach, that was, I heard that about Bros, but that goes back to Freddie Mercury and possibly people before that. I mean, we are talking about probably very immature bogan school children who get this from their dads at barbecues, I guess.
So the rumour is that Lady Gaga is a hermaphrodite.
She has a dick.
Okay.
She was asked about this in an interview a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, was she?
Yeah. And
what'd she say?
Well, now she said what it is now safe to say, which is, would it be so bad if I did? But yes, in 2008, you couldn't say, would it be so bad if I had a penis?
I'm glad she's keeping it all under wraps so no one knows.
I think it is simply the fact that she has a slightly masculine-ish air about her, just a tiny bit, and so does Jamie Lee Curtis. But I mean, out of anyone you could pick, I don't know why, it's just one of those rumours.
Yeah, well,
either that or Lana Del Rey started it because she was jealous.
Probably, absolutely.
I know she wrote a diss track about her.
Oh, fucking Lana, did she really?
Yeah, she got annoyed at her for selling out and going all pop. Although,
gee, Lana.
I know, glass houses.
She's so edgy, Lana, yep.
Oh, hang on, there's something over the horizon then.
Well, sorry. Oh, the reggae's coming up. Real quick, though, 39 mil, as we said, for Gaga. 698 million listens on Spotify of this song, so more than Just Dance. People like this one more, obviously.
Yeah.
370 for this. Fucking hell.
Yeah, no, it's got to be that thing. I think it's just, they must be just only doing 5
So,
CDs
if you want a Just Dance and Poker Face CD single, you're going to have to throw down $10, basically.
You'd be
for
better
both
off
of
going
those.
to Cashies.
Yeah, I think so, for sure. So, yeah, you've just reggaeed us up, and that's because Wes Carr... I said that Lady Gaga was the last song of the year. There's one more.
They overlapped.
Sorry.
He was in the middle of her.
That's
so,
right.
yeah.
Lady Gaga, a bit of Wes Carr, then back to Gaga. But
Yes,
yep. So
1
Wes
week
Carr, 1 week. What's the Wes Carr story, Tom?
I just want to know how many mountains and caves and distant islands that Wes Carr had to search for, to go and look to find a song title as imaginative as this one. Where do you get it?
Don't know.
Wake up at 4 a.m. one morning, just a microscopic particle of inspiration just hits that bit of your brain and you
Yep.
think, I know what I'll call it. You.
Yeah.
A song that's impossible to Google and no one would do it even if they could, because this is hot dog shit.
Yeah.
Well, as Axel was pointing out, this is a reality TV star, he said, with 17 inverted quotation marks about it. Wes attended Australia's prestigious Johnny Young Talent School, hoping, like so many starry-eyed kids out there, to be the next Danny Minogue.
Yep.
But instead formed a band called Timberlane, not Timberland, Timberlane, with you. Oh, sorry, the other Ben Gillies from Silverchair.
Really?
Sadly, the band broke up in 2005 after, quote, unpleasant power struggle. Would you care to share the details there?
Yeah, look, Wes said to me, I want to perform exclusively soft rock. The softer, the fucking better. And I said, I don't want no weak shit, Wes. And then we went our separate ways.
Did you say, don't you know I'm a freak?
I
I'm a freak
did.
of nature.
I did.
If you're not sitting on a ball in the middle of the Andes, I couldn't give a shit, Wes.
That's right. I said, no more rabies. The baby has rabies. And
I thought maybe your psychic wife heard this song in the future and went, no, dude, you don't want to be anywhere near
that's
this
true.
when this turd bomb
That's
exploded.
true. I think that's true.
The end of an alleyway.
Yep.
Wes's story came to a disastrous end when he went looking for Robert Johnson's fabled Crossroads in order to sell his soul to the devil in exchange for musical ability. When he got there, he discovered that it's now a 26-lane roundabout and ended up selling his ass for 15 minutes of Australia-only fame and a Vodafone sponsorship limited to discount local calls on weekdays only. Unfortunately,
That's as good as you get.
in short, Wes, and you can see this from looking at one photo of him, wants very, very badly to be in Kings of Leon.
Oh, yeah.
But doesn't seem to realise that the only way into that band is being adopted by their parents and renamed as a brother to their children, which seems somewhat unlikely.
Yep.
Also, he's not particularly good, which some might consider an issue outside of the alternative white Bondi vegan blues rock nexus. He does have a stupid beard, however, and nobody can take that away from him, Ben.
No. Look, he probably should have just released a song called Cock on Fire and sort of played that against
He should
Kings
have
of
written
Leon.
a song
to
called
sort-
I Wish I Was in Kings of Leon. It would have
Yeah.
been more interesting than this shit. Maybe it
Absolutely.
would have had an honest moment in it.
I
Perhaps.
wish I was in Kings of Leon bracket with flowers in my hair. Sort of played a bit off that song as well, and everyone would have went, "What angle is he coming from?" Would
Yeah,
have been
sure.
great.
Look, anything is more interesting. This song is somehow better than his follow-up single, Feels Like Woe, which I believe Shannon Knoll refused to cover on the grounds that he has some standards. Feels Like Woe only woed its way up to number 14 on the ARIA charts, then Satan's stopwatch went ding and Wes's time in the limelight was up. Ben.
Yeah, look, I listened to you and thought, this isn't very good. This is terrible. And then, on your advice, I went and listened to Feels Like Whoa and just went, I was longing for you. I wanted to hear that again because this was just so shit.
It sounds
that I
like
can't
you
imagine.
listened to this, then called up Wes afterwards as a bit of a stir and said, "Oh, Wes, I thought you said you wanted soft rock. This sounds a bit edgy for me." Hung up the
We
phone
need to
angrily
make
and
it-
went, "Fuck it, I can make it softer. I can
gonna
get it
write-
softer than
I'm
this."
going to write
And
the
then
softest shit you can think
feels
of now.
like, whoa. Yeah.
So in the music video for you, what you've got is you have Wes is making his way to the venue. Yeah, he's walking down to the venue. So he shows up to the venue where he's performing. I think it's somewhere in Sydney. I'm not exactly sure.
It's
It looks
Bondi.
like that.
Let's
Is it
face
Bondi?
it.
Yeah,
No,
there you
I'm
go.
just assuming.
So
it's
he shows
Bondi
up there.
'cause he
So
looks like he's in Bondi.
he gets there out the front of the venue. He shakes hands with the guys, gives some high fives, sort of a little bit of hugs, that sort of stuff. One of the guys starts playing a harmonica, which looks garbage. So he gets there. He's hanging out with his mates outside. Then he goes up to the roof of the venue to perform, and he has some female fans that are sort of outside waiting for him who show up, and they go upstairs and watch him perform out on the roof on this sort of nice sunny day up in Sydney, we're going to say. Now, there's a few things in that video clip I don't believe. First, no one's high-fiving or shaking this guy's hand when he shows up to the venue. They're just like, who the fuck is this guy? Two, There's no venue anywhere that I know of that would allow this guy to perform in any capacity.
No.
And 3, he doesn't have any fans, and definitely not female fans.
No.
The real life video would be him showing up at the venue, the people are outside saying, "Who the fuck are you?" The promoter telling him to fuck off, and then him busking in the car park behindhand to an individual who's passed out behind a dumpster from the night before. And that's effectively what it would be in
It's
real
funny,
life.
I kind of watched this with half an eye while I was writing some notes, and in my mind this did take place in a car park, so I think I may have seen through the matrix there and actually gotten down to the core of this song, which is a guy in a beard playing on a guitar badly in a Bondi car park where you can't even see the beach.
Absolutely right. Look, so after this song and after Feels Like Whoa, Wes has started performing under the pseudonym Buffalo Tales, and he recently, now on Spotify, when you look him up, I wanted to see how many monthly listeners he has, he's listed as Wesley Dean. You might be saying, Wes Carr, he's gone to Buffalo Tales and now Wesley Dean. Now, Wes Carr has claimed that the reality show has ruined his name. Now, first of all, you need to have a name of some standing for it to be ruined.
That's right.
So I don't really know how that goes.
You can't divide by 0.
It's like it's like if someone calls me a cunt in the Herald Sun, you know, am I going to be able to sue them because, you know, I don't have a reputation to damage so much?
That's
so
right.
I'm not really sure.
Also, I think by the law
That-
of reputational mathematics, that would actually mark you as a good
yeah,
person.
probably, yeah, exactly.
If it's a writer from the Herald Sun.
So
But
this
yeah, I
is
take
where-
your point.
this
You
is
can't
where we
damage
are.
something that doesn't exist.
But also, this is where we are with reality singing contests at this stage. You've gone from the early people, your Guy Sebastians, who obviously go on season 1 of Australian Idol. They win that, and that obviously helps their career.
sort of a career.
So, his songs are fucking awful, but for the last 20 years, he's been able to perform as an Australian Idol winner.
Yes.
I did see in the news the other day, he's suing his former manager for $1 million that the manager
Guy
stole
Sebastian.
from him.
Yeah.
So if the manager stole $1 million, he's obviously earned at least $1 million.
That's
so
right.
he's earned some money from that.
I mean,
So
Shannon Knoll's still touring. and
exactly.
Still,
So you've gone from that. Then you've gone through the artists where they go on Australian Idol, they have a very a large amount of success in a small amount of time.
Yeah.
Then that dwindles away and they probably just go back to what they were doing before. I'm talking your Lee Harding Wasabi who's performing over at Crown Casino. Probably what's happened is that the short-term success and then they've led back down to the level that their natural talent probably should have pegged them at to begin
Yes,
with. So
exactly.
they just sort of overshot with Idol and they're where they're at now performing
Like
in car parks.
Damien Leash.
Exactly
Yeah.
right. That sort of thing. And now you've got guys like Wes who's saying that it's had an adverse
Yes,
effect on my
it
career.
would have been
going
better
on,
off.
I would have been better off not going
doing
on the
pub
show.
gigs at Bondi than appearing on there.
Yet people, and then there was the girl a few weeks ago that we talked about who now works as a traffic manager,
Yes,
so flipping the signs and sort of shit. So I guess it begs the question: would you still, or should any young talent sort of consider going on these shows, knowing that the options are the Guy Sebastian option of making it big? That's not happening anymore.
No.
That's just not happening.
No.
It's whoever goes on these things the first time. I'm talking your Bardo, I'm talking your Scandalous. They've got lifelong careers, but you know, dudes. Exactly. But guys like sort of, you know, so that you're not going to get that. The best
No.
case scenario for these shows is you're going to win and you're going to have a very, you know, lot of success in about, you know, a short space of time. Then you're going to go back to working just your regular job, maybe performing at Christmas carols or some bullshit at the Domain.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, your name's going to be ruined.
Yes.
So don't do it.
I would refer to the old adage, when you eat Maltesers with the devil, use a long spoon. You know,
It's fair enough. Yeah.
If you're going to appear on one of these shows, I would go, at minimum, the Lee Harding route.
yeah.
Change your name to something completely different, get a passport, adopt a Swedish accent, have crazy hair, fake facial tattoos,
Yep.
lots of body piercings, and wear a mask on the top of your head.
Yeah.
Say you're allergic to daylight or something, and wear a full Blade outfit, and call yourself Sven Vath, the Swedish
Absolutely.
hip hop vampire. And then when it all goes tits up, then you can strip all that off and go back to your normal
Yeah,
life
exactly
as a
right.
tax accountant.
Yeah, for sure you can. It makes sense.
Yeah.
That's sage advice for any people listening out there. If you're thinking of going on Idle or whatever they've got now, the spinning chair one, either A, don't do it, or B, get into a character so that you
Yes.
can just strip that off later.
Protect
And go
your
back to-
identity,
Exactly
yeah.
right. Use a fake name probably.
Yes.
Get like a passport that's been falsified as well.
Yes.
so
And
you
for
can
God's
use it.
sake, if you have any musical credibility of any kind existing now, then don't.
Exactly.
Don't, because you're only going to
Exactly.
subtract from that.
Now, feels like whoa. The lyrics are just feels like whoa, fucking garbage. What can you tell me about the lyrics of this? His better of the two songs.
Well, Wes dropped some knowledge on us here.
Yeah.
I've been to places all around the world.
I don't believe that for a second.
I've seen the faces of so many girls. Never thought I would fall in love, and with the songs I write, I'm not enough.
Okay.
Now, I've seen the faces of so many girls too, Ben. It's called having the gift of eyesight.
Yeah, exactly.
At least Wes is willing to admit that his songwriting talents are completely inadequate to the task of generating a living through selling music. So I guess that's the first step, admitting you have the problem.
Yep.
Now he just needs to seek help, I assume, from one of the many counselling centres now scattered across the Western world, specifically to cater to self-entitled narcissistic cock jockeys who think they deserve an ongoing media career on the basis of doing 3 episodes of Rock of Love Charm School in 2006.
Look, that's a fair
yeah.
point. That's a fair point, Tom. I
Like
guess.
you say, I don't believe any of those statements,
No.
frankly.
No. In fact, I
I
read.
mean, I believe the face said that he's seen women's faces, at least on the internet.
Look, he may have been places all over the world, but it's not touring off the back of his music. It's just like
No.
a Kentucky holiday or something.
That's right, or Trust Fund Parents, which
Yeah.
is what his Bondi tribe
Exactly
smacks
right.
of. It's just such a weak-ass fucking thing. It's just a kind of half-ass white, blues thing, which is always pretty tenuous.
Yeah.
And people were giving Gomez shit about doing that 10 years earlier, and they had real, actual talent.
Yeah, this-
and could come up with better lyrics than this.
60,000 on Spotify. That's about as low as you can get, I
Yeah.
think. And this will cost you $4. So that's insane.
Well,
Don't do that.
way more than it would have originally cost, I think.
Yeah, probably.
I think they were giving it away outside of Nova FM next
Yeah.
to the Thorpe water.
Do you have anything to add about Wes Carr, Tom?
No, I was going to say a few things about runners-up this
Yeah,
year.
great. Absolutely.
Yeah, I know we used to do that. I didn't have much. I just looked up some other stuff that was big this year. As mentioned, Rihanna's, the rest of Rihanna's album, there were many hits off that. There were several other Lady Gaga songs this year. Other runners-up include Beyonce's ode to not being married to Jay-Z, Single Ladies.
Oh, yeah.
Rihanna's ode to the Shia LaBeouf vehicle Disturbia, and Soulja Boy's ode to masturbation, Crank That. Also, My People by the Presets, which is far better than anything at number 1 this year, and heralded the start of the modular label sound that would dominate dance floors for the next 5 years.
Yeah, great.
Unlike, say, Into the Night by Santana featuring Chad Kroeger from Nickelback. Yeah, that sound, that was fucking huge. It just exploded for a bit. This year, there was also the first MGMT album, the one with Electric Feel and Kids on it.
Okay.
That came out this year.
Oh,
they were
right.
both huge. That's what actual people were actually listening to in nightclubs that played, stuff that was new, not, stuff off the pop charts. But yeah.
I'm glad that Soulja Boy Crank That made it into the list. That is...
I mean, talk about your edgy lyrics, Forget Sex is on Fire.
Yeah.
The world wasn't ready for Crank That.
Look, I hope that Soulja Boy is still
Soldiering
able
on.
to tour the world just off the back of Crank That.
I
So
hope you use plenty of moisturiser too, because, you can really dry yourself out
absolutely.
doing a
Look,
world tour off that one.
Is Soulja Boy done any work with Flow Rider? I feel like those two guys. If there's not a collab, that should be one that'd be
I
happening.
watched so it would have been about 10 years ago. I downloaded this 100 best video games of all time special when I was really hungover because I needed something to watch, and it was done in America, and it was one of those weird talking heads ones like 100 best hits of the 80s or whatever, where they just recruit anyone who'll go on to talk about any video game, and it must have been
Was Henry Rollins on there? Did they get him in?
no,
It's a miracle.
It was video game centric, so a lot of the people were video gamers and people of my age or younger.
Yep.
But it must have been the week after Crank That came out, because Soldier Boy was on, I would estimate, 50% of the video games he had something to say about, including shit that came out long before he was born, like the Nintendo Power Glove and stuff. It's like, what the fuck is Soldier Boy? Who is Soldier Boy? And then, it's like, oh, he did that one song. That's right. Jesus.
When I want to hear about video games, I want to hear it from Soldier Boy. So.
Also, for a guy who looks like he's about 18, he had an awful lot of neck tattoos. I hope he's gone on to, a career where he gets to wear polo necks a lot.
Cool. Well, I know it's popular for podcasts to do a Patreon and then do special content, bonus content for the subscribers. So, Tom, if we ever go down that route, we'll do a full deep dive into the career of Soldier Boy, I think. And is that worth $5 a month?
Oh, I reckon.
better make it $1 a month, I think, for a Soldier Boy deep dive. But, giving people what they want. Anyway, thank you for listening. That's 2008. We'll be back soon with 2009. And then after that, we'll have to do our end of the decade wrap, Tom, where we can discover all the finest.
2010 first, I suppose, and then the decade. Did we do that before or not?
No.
I will discuss this
2020, that's the next decade. Is that right? Yeah.
Did we do it? I'll have to check.
You do 1999, and then we did the 90s wrap, and then start with
2000. Oh, yeah, you're
2009,
right. That makes sense.
and then we do that. So.
Sorry.
But look, it is confusing, because, the new millennium did start...
Not if you're not a fuck.
The new millennium did start on the 1st of January 2001, remember?
Me.
But no, everyone...
Yes, no one wanted to hear that.
But I think a decade is a different story. A decade is just literally...
No, you're right. You're exactly right.
Anyway, all good. Bye.
See you. Jeez.